Welcome back from recess class. We're back with another lesson for you. We're continuing on with Guitar Hero 3. If you didn't watch last week's episode, we've talked about the engines of Guitar Hero 1, 2, and 80s, and all the sort of basic terms and advanced terms about how the games work. If you have not watched episode 34, go back and watch it before you watch this. It's kind of like a very foundational episode that you will need to watch before you watch this to fully understand what we're talking about. Unless, you've been playing these games since you were 10 years old and you've been playing forever, you'll mostly know what we're talking about. But if you are new in any sense, I would say go watch the first episode before you watch this one. But regardless, we will continue on with the Guitar Hero games.
Like 70% of the audience that is watching us don't know most of how these games work, or didn't even know that there's any big differences. Truthfully, I don't blame you, and I'm glad we're here to talk about.
A lot to keep up with.
There is so much to keep up with. So.
Yeah, this is quintessentially for anybody that sees 5-fret games and goes, wait, I thought they were all the same. You just hit the notes. Friend.
You fool. You fool.
For every...
Surely
every,
you jest.
Yeah, for every Guitar Hero World Tour, there's a SingStar guitar or a Power Gig or a DJ Hero guitar engine.
DJ Hero 2!
Don't get me started on fucking DJ Hero guitar engine. We'll hear about that later. So the goal today is to talk about all the Guitar Hero games. We're probably going to cut it off at Guitar Hero. We might talk about Clone Hero, might talk about Yarg, don't know. But Rock Band will be for a different day. Because Fortnite Festival, at the time of recording, Fortnite Festival has not updated to Season 4 yet, which is the supposed engine fix where they fix Cody time. So we'd like to be able to play that and get some actual hands-on time before we actually talk about the Fortnite Festival engine, because it is always evolving, as a live service game does. So we're going to hold off on that until that's done. So that's the plan for today. If we actually finish all the Guitar Hero games or not, we'll see.
There's a lot of info. A lot of info.
Much to speak about. So let's stop wasting any more time. Guitar Hero 3. This is the first non-harmonic
game. The golden
game.
child.
This is the one that we all know. This was our love and joy for many years. This was how we played customs
in the series.
Yeah, JP's first game. This is the first game that this is the game that catapulted Guitar Hero into the I was going to say mainstream, but it was already mainstream, but ultra mainstream. This was the first video game
it went up
ever.
It went up 10 levels of fame, easily.
Yeah.
Pretty significant increase.
It was the most popular game in the world when it came out.
This is so hard to put into context for anybody who wasn't around. If you've been born after Guitar Hero 3 came out and didn't, you weren't around to see the culture at the time, first video game to break $1 billion in sales, just like Jake just said a second ago. That's insane. That's crazy. In context, wow.
Nobody else can do that. Nobody else can be the first.
First ever.
Guitar Hero was the first.
And having the controller with it. Having the controller with it and selling bundles.
Yeah, selling the bundle for $90 or $100 instead of the $59.99. But you know what?
Have you seen deluxe editions of video games nowadays? They're way more than that.
Shut the fuck up. You can get $160 Assassin's Creed or some shit.
Exactly. You see how much Alan Wake costs, bro? That deluxe edition? You see that shit? It was almost $300.
Who the fuck is buying $300 Alan Wake?
Believable.
I don't know. Freaks.
Certainly ain't me.
I mean, I fuck with Alan Wake. But you gotta...
$300 though.
It's like a fucking cyberspace opera, soap opera type shit. I don't know anything about it.
I don't know, man. $300.
6 different games to understand it, but I fuck with it.
Yeah, you could buy a lot of things for $300.
Hey, anyway, Guitar Hero 3.
Hold on, my friend bought a $300 Baldur's Gate special edition. That shit sells on eBay for $1,200 now. Because that was before it was the biggest game ever for a while. It was pre-release. There was only 1,000 of them made or whatever, so it was rarity built in.
What was it? The Shadow of the Erdtree deluxe edition. It's $250 or $300 or something.
That's a game I can see because Elden Ring is peak.
That's
11 out of 10.
I get it. Hey, we're 11 days and counting as of today of recording.
Shit, dude.
12 days
That's
and counting.
soon.
Sorry.
That's
special edition for DLC though.
I mean,
it's Elden Ring. It's like a Game of the Year edition, kind of, you could say, because it's the game plus the DLC. It's not just the DLC, as far as I'm aware.
Anywho, Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero. Yeah, first non-harmonics game. It feels way different than Guitar Hero 2. Everything feels and looks different because it's just a different engine. It's a different group of people building it.
A quick little timeline, real quick, to catch people up who have a fuzzy memory on who has developed Guitar Hero. So,
or if you're a child,
when Guitar Hero 2 dropped, Red Octane was acquired by Activision. Activision became the publisher. Harmonix had 1 or 2 more games under their contract with Red Octane, so they made Guitar Hero 2 for 360, and then Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s, and they fucking dipped. And then they made Rock Band. I wouldn't want to be under Activision either. So instead
Yep.
of
So,
Harmonix, they got
the timeline we're talking here. We're talking 2005 for Guitar Hero 1, 2006 for Guitar Hero 2, late, like holiday season, and then Roxy 80s was like June or July of 2007. Rock Band 1 came out in November of 2007. So like there was a year between Guitar Hero 2 and Rock Band 1. So there was not a lot of turnaround time. They were working on Rock Band 1 probably right after they finished Guitar Hero 2 because they knew the writing was on the wall. I'm pretty sure
Or alongside.
Guitar Hero was already sold.
Because they wanted to put drums. They wanted to do band in Guitar Hero, but I'm pretty sure Activision didn't want them to do it.
Probably.
Now,
I don't know. It's a lot more expensive to manufacture instruments for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like, hey, they didn't really get to try it until they were, they had MTV, Viacom under their wings, and they had bajillion dollars to work with. You know what I mean? So both parties won and got to do exactly what they want. There's only one still standing right now. Anyway,
is it still standing though? It's over
still
now.
Standing? Yeah.
Rock Band 4?
Rock
I mean,
Band
it's still
4?
out there and it still exists. No more DLC. They only supported it for 8 years.
Only.
Only supported. The entire lifespan of the first Guitar Hero series lasted for 5 years. Guitar Hero 1 through Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, and they rebooted it in 2015 for no fanfare. But anyways, sorry, Jason.
Oh, yeah, no, it's all good.
I know you like
the thing with Guitar Hero 3, I think, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about this. Some of the changes that were made to the game inherently made it easier for people to get into than the past. So, no more strum limit. And there was also an infinite front end. That meant if you were holding down a hammer-on when it crossed the strike line at the bottom, if you were holding the correct one, it counted.
No matter when you held down that button.
Yeah, did not have to worry about if you were pushing it directly in time with when the note was crossing the strike line. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, rhythm in my rhythm game? No, not for me. I'll just hold down the button.
This is one of the few Guitar Hero games where this was the case, by the way. We'll get to another one in the future, but most Guitar Hero games, you are not allowed to play this, well, I don't know how else to say it, but sloppy.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. Sorry if you feel like that's rude. It is what it is. It's just sloppy. And they didn't intend for this to be the thing. This was a glitch. We were talking with Chris Vance.
Recently, yeah.
They wanted it to not be infinite. They just couldn't figure out in time before release.
They cranked out this game in 8 months? 7 months?
Less than a year.
It was quick.
Less than a year.
It was
turnaround.
quick.
Guys, game development was very different back in the 2000s. Nowadays, it takes you
Crunch
7 years to build
really
one game.
Crunch wasn't recognized back in the day, and people were just kind of okay with killing
that was
themselves
just normal and
over,
natural, and there was no other alternative.
Funny video game.
Funny video game, And speaking of the developers, I mean, Activision, since they didn't have Harmonix to work with, they got their renowned Tony Hawk developers, Neversoft, to work on the game. And so, funnily enough, we eventually found out that it was just built directly within a Tony Hawk game. Or, sit in the same engine as Tony Hawk's Proving Grounds, the last Tony Hawk game before Pro Skater 5 dropped. Or I guess Pro Skater HD. God, those games fucking sucked. But Tony Hawk Proving Grounds actually has a demo for Guitar Hero 3. And
included on the disc.
Yeah, on the disc. And in Proving Grounds, you can unlock Judy Nails from Guitar Hero 3.
Crazy.
You can play as her.
I actually didn't know that. I
think
never
on
played
both the
Proving Grounds.
PlayStation 2 and the Xbox versions.
That's cool.
Yeah. So the last gen versions and the current as of back then. So I guess the 8th generation? No, 7th generation, right?
7th
generation of consoles.
The best one, might I say?
Best one. Yeah, nothing quite like it.
PS2,
but,
360, PS3.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Wii.
Yeah, Wii.
Wii?
But then we got those weird spin-off versions of AAA games.
Oh, we got a lot of slop.
They got a lot of
the COD games,
shovelware.
Yeah.
Wii somehow appealed to grandmas, and that's never been a gaming console
and it's never gonna
target
happen
market.
again.
Bro, to this day, man, they probably still have Wii bowling nights at the old folks.
They
home.
absolutely 100%
they do.
They have the
Yeah.
fucking
Yes.
They have the fucking 480i projector in the movie room.
My grandma
and then
was a pro at the Wii bowling in her little
My
retirement
grandpa was
community
pretty good too.
before she passed. Rest in peace. She was always the top of leaderboards. We would get little newsletters sent home about the what's going on
that's
at,
so
at grandma's
cute.
old folks' home, and they
I
had
love
leaderboards.
that.
They
What
had
the fuck?
leaderboards.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That's
Grandma
so
was
cool.
killing it with the Wii bowling.
Wholesome.
Yeah,
She
it was
made
so
it
cute.
perfect.
She really did. She was the Weeballing queen, I guess, over there. Moving on back to Guitar Hero.
Jesus Christ. Okay, we gotta we gotta remember that this is gonna be
this.
cemented into history.
Yes.
These videos. Okay, we gotta talk
Grandma,
about the
you're
actual
cemented in
fucking
history.
game.
Yeah.
So we were saying the No
Tony Hawk
Infinite-
ass engine.
Yeah, so it's a Tony Hawk ass engine. Jason and Jake, I mean, all of us, we could all agree that when we played this game and we were just getting good at expert, we were like, damn, I'm really good at this game. Damn,
Yes.
I can really
I
shred.
got a
Like, we
skill
played
boost
Cult
here.
of Personality for the first time, and we're like, you probably, like, hit the first solo on sight read, or, like,
I
missed a
wasn't
couple
that
notes on
good,
sight
pal.
read.
I wasn't that good at that time. but
I don't
shit.
know. Or, like, did really good 5-starred Cult of Personality, because it was a big
Yes.
deal, because it was
Yeah,
a
sure.
re-recording of a legendary song. And
Yes.
then we were just kind of like, that's interesting. I never thought I was this good at the game. And it turns out it's because the engine is like super sloppy, extremely sloppy. And
The most
not that
lenient
there's-
engine officially.
is officially
Officially.
the most lenient engine, unless you count the Guitar Hero 3 prototype that released this year.
Yeah, that's not official. The prototype
That's not
has a static
official,
window, so.
But yeah, this game has the infinite front end, which has solidified so many bad playing habits. And it took me a while to get used to Rock Band because I was so used to Guitar Hero 3. For a time, I was like, damn, Rock Band, this shit feels terrible. But then I was
It's so
like,
much
man,
harder
wait,
to
hold
play,
on, hold on,
and it
hold on.
doesn't feel as
I
good.
love Guitar Hero 2. Isn't it just kind of like Guitar Hero 2? And so, with Guitar Hero 3, it just kind of it became this platform for people to play like custom songs on in 2008 on PC. It was like the most it became the most popular platform to play customs on.
Yeah, and this is
for
also
like
the first
8 years.
officially supported Guitar Hero game on PC. Before this, we just
Yes.
had shitty clones like Frets on Fire and Guitar Zero, perhaps. That was based on the Guitar Hero
Phase
3 games.
Shift came out in 2012. Yeah, I know. So that wasn't.
That's late as
during the time.
damn. That's late.
Late
I
as
didn't think
fuck.
it was that.
It may.
late.
I don't even know if it was
Phase
2012. It may have been like 2010 or 2011 that they did like closed beta testing. But I
Still
remember
way
playing
late.
Phase Shift in like 2012.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, Guitar Hero 3. Everybody likes to be rewarded. Everybody likes to feel good. Feel like
It's the
they're
dopamine
good
game
at the game.
of
It's a
the
dopamine
series, I
game.
would say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
Kids
and in
nowadays getting their
return-
participation trophies. It's that type of game. If you want to be like that,
Well, it should be
Yeah,
noted,
I
though,
guess, like-
that, like,
Go ahead,
it-
Jimmy. Sorry.
well, that's okay. So, like, the game is sloppy. However, that doesn't mean that the accomplishments are easy. This is a very difficult full
Yes.
game FC.
Correct.
It is very difficult.
it is still among the hardest games to full game FC.
Yes.
Yes,
Thanks-
and it's
thanks
because
to
of the songs
Flames.
and the charts.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Flames and One.
you know,
and
the
Rain and
thing
Blood.
is, over time, like realizing how sloppy Guitar Hero 3 is, it's like at least they didn't play it at 1,000 frames per second. Like we had to go out
Oh,
of
yeah,
our way
because
to
it's
play
older.
it like that. And it became less about like methodizing your finger movements so that your tapping could be accurate, or like Guitar Hero 3 could allow you to do alt tapping of zigzags like the Red Snake on Through the Fire and Flames, or doing any sort of like quad tapping like in What the, you know what I mean? But if you played that at like 1,000 FPS, it wouldn't matter if you're methodizing your hands. It became more about like pattern shapes and just like having your hands let go of the buttons in the right order instead of placing them in the right order. But that's just like something I was thinking about, how Guitar Hero 3 just kind of shaped this whole sweaty meta of
It changed the
playing
game.
The community destroyed that game.
Mhm.
Oh no, and it happened as
Really
early
did.
as like 2011. It
Yeah.
happened as early as 2011, man. When the game came out on PC, Exile Lord was the first guy to turn off VSync and start playing insane patterns. That's why he made Solus. He wanted to practice patterns, and so he very quickly booted up. I don't even know if it was FL Studio at the time. I don't even know if he made it in FL Studio, but he just put audio to the patterns that he made in feedback, and it sounded soulless. So that's where the whole series came from. But
fact.
not to mention, it wasn't just Exile Lord, but it was also the Shadester and
Sure.
Yeah, shout outs to
Deadhead.
Bo.
Yeah.
Deadhead.
Ooh, Deadhead.
Yeah.
That's a name. That's
Those
an old
those
name.
are the guys. Those are the guys that like really popularized high FPS. And keep in mind, this is 2008. Nobody had like crazy ass computers to run the game at like 1,000 FPS, but they would crank down the shit out of their graphics, and they'd probably be like running it at like something around like 150 FPS, maybe just like 90 FPS.
Like
Yeah,
a
mind you,
half-size
this
window in
game
the
was
corner.
optimized
Yeah.
like shit. It did not
Oh,
run
yeah, it's very
well
bad.
anywhere.
bro,
Very,
the-
very bad
the
port.
Terrible port.
Aspire
Aspire,
ports?
you suck.
Aspire, bro.
Aspire. They're still around today. They still
Live
make
up to
shitty
the
ports.
name.
Yeah, no, they still make shitty ports.
What was the most recent
Um,
shitty port that they just put out?
Battlefront or something, right?
Oh, yep, the something
The
HD
classic,
collection.
yeah, Battlefront Classic, dude.
Battlefront, yeah, the Star
Yeah,
Wars.
apparently-
Shit. Yeah.
Apparently, they
Old-
took like
old
they took
game,
like
20-year-old
user
game,
mods.
dude.
They took like user mods or something and like didn't give any credit or
Yeah.
some shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Insane.
was
Cool company.
them.
Yes, that was them.
Yep.
That was totally them.
That's the Guitar Hero 3 guys.
They're still up for their
And the
old
Guitar Hero
shenanigans.
Aerosmith PC guys,
And
and
the
the
Aerosmith
Guitar Hero
PC
World
guys.
Tour
Which
PC
all the
I
guys.
don't think
PC ports.
I don't think anybody knows the GH Aerosmith exists on PC.
Yeah. Did you know? It's also on PC. We'll get to that later, I
And
guess.
World Tour.
Yeah.
And World Tour. Well,
And
everybody knows
World
yeah,
Tour
okay,
People
nowadays.
know
So-
that now because of Definitive Edition, but
Yeah.
before they didn't know.
With the developer change of Guitar Hero 3, the game, it feels floaty. It feels
Yes.
floaty on 360 and PS3. On PS2
It's
and
a-
Wii,
it's a
it feels
weird
alright. It feels
Yeah.
alright on Wii and PS2, but like it's not better. It's just less floaty. But like people,
Think about how 1 was FC'd first on Wii, right?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And
Um,
after Through the Fire and Flames, for that matter.
Yeah.
Because this was the second time that we had a Guitar Hero game in HD for this generation.
True.
Yeah, Guitar Hero
like-
2 360.
Yeah. So it was like what 720p. I don't think it was. It was
I
like
think Xbox is
upscaled. It was
natively ran at
upscaled to
720p,
1080p.
Yeah.
Because there's a really cool. It's not a feature, but it's a cool fact about this game. Lore fact: the higher the resolution goes in Guitar Hero 3, the thinner the sustains get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sustains are like a fixed
Yeah,
width.
yeah.
The little tiny, yeah. So like the sustains on Guitar Hero 3 for 360 and PS3 are pretty thick. That's
Mhm.
it. That's because it's running at like 900p.
They're also
Uh,
rendering them. They're rendering them a lot differently than
Rendering them a
360
lot
does.
different from the PC
Yeah.
version. The PC version, though, if you've ever played Guitar Hero Arcade, those run at 1080p, and so the sustains are extremely skinny. And if you've ever seen gameplay of people playing it at 4K, those are
They're
like rock
non-existent.
band- those are like rock band sustains. They are skinny.
I've
They're
never seen
extremely
that.
skinny. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't know
know
if I've ever
why
seen
that was
4K
the
gameplay
case.
either.
Oh, and also if you play it 4K, the fretboard starts glitching out on the right side. So yeah, it's cool. But yeah,
That
I'll
sounds-
send a
we
video
said
later.
this
I
in the
know-
last episode. We talk about these engines the way they were designed, and they were designed to be ran at 60 FPS at this very
Exactly,
specific
yeah.
resolution. So we're pushing it beyond that, and weird shit starts happening. You know, and when we talk about uncapping the frame rate, the reason people did that is because it just gives you more opportunities to hit a note. Right? If you have 60 FPS, you have 60 times per second that you can hit a note. But if you have 1,000, well, then now you have 1,000 opportunities
Yeah.
every second to hit a note. That obviously helps you. So
Yeah.
Well,
that's why
I feel
people
like
did it.
I feel like we gotta briefly mention 3D Analyze now because of the PC port.
Dude, like you didn't even need to use 3D Analyze. You could just use an NVIDIA control panel to turn off
Yeah.
VSync globally.
True.
Same with AMD Radeon tools. You could just turn off VSync globally. But you know what we did? We used a fucking program from 2003 because it would also allow us using borderless window for Guitar Hero 3 PC.
Big deal back then too.
Big deal back then for us streamers, for people who were playing on a lower resolution but didn't want to have the graphics card force the fucking shitty resolution on their 1080p monitor. You know what I mean? So that was a big deal, man. We're talking a lot about Guitar Hero 3. Anyway, let's move on. You want to talk about tick bursting?
I'll gladly talk about tick bursting. So, we talked about in Guitar Hero 2 and 1 and 80s and all that stuff about how the sustains work. So, like when the sustain note hits the strike line, you hit the note. Say if you hit it early, you will not gain any points until that note is at the strike line, and then all the points from the sustains, the ticks, that's what they're called, they'll start counting up as soon as they cross the strike line. That's how it works on that. It's a very fixed time in the song where you gain points from sustains. Not in this game. You gain points from sustains as soon as you hit them. So if you hit a sustain early, like here's the hit window, here's the note. If you hit it right here, way before it hits the strike line, you'll start gaining ticks before it even crosses the strike line. Therefore, if you hit it late, you'll start counting up points later. You won't get compensated right away at the beginning of the sustain for the notes you hadn't hit yet. You'll get it compensated at the end of the sustain. So after the sustain ends on the highway, that you can see the very end point of the sustain, there'll be a small little burst at the end of it where it like shoots out a little bit, and that gives you all the extra points that you missed from hitting it late. So this is a
People
very
are going to need a
exploitable
visual
mechanic.
for that, but if you've ever
I
hit
didn't know about that.
if you've ever hit a sustain late,
You know what it looks
'cause
like.
You know what it looks like because the sustain pops up above the strike line as soon as you hold it all the way through. Unless you let go of it early, but then I think even then it will still burst.
It
with
looks
the gray
weird.
Sustain.
I can put up a video for you guys to see.
Yeah,
It's in every game after this, except for
the
Halo.
reason why I know about this is because before the first title update where they changed the calibration settings, they only had one type of calibration, and I was playing on a
much
shitty
like Guitar Hero 2,
HDTV.
same thing.
Yeah, much like Guitar Hero 2. They only had the audio-video calibration to be one number, and so, or it was just video calibration only, something like that.
Yeah,
I think that's
I
what
don't
it
even know
was.
how it works. It's just one number that moves
It was
things
just
around. I
one
don't even know
number,
what it
and
does.
so it would just move the timing window back and forward, or no, it would just only move it back. And so if you were playing on an HD TV with fucking like 180 milliseconds lag,
Which was common
you're-
back in the day on early
It was
HD
common
TVs.
back in the day, yes, because there was no game mode on TVs. Gaming's for fucking losers and idiots.
Latency
You know what I
somehow
mean?
was an afterthought for HD TV manufacturers
Exactly.
back in the day. They didn't give a shit about latency.
Yeah, and so like I would play like I think it was like Cliffs of Dover. The first sustain, you hit it so late and then it bursted up. It bursted up off of the fretboard. I'm like, that is distracting as fuck. I don't like that. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play with the sound off until they fix calibration. Lo and behold, they fix calibration. So
Thankfully.
thank God. Thankfully.
Weird quirk about that. If you have a save on the newer title update that has calibration settings for the audio, which was the one that got added, I think it was just video. So if you set your audio calibration to 1 millisecond, we'll just say just 1 millisecond. If you delete the title update and go play it on like V1.0, like how the disc shipped, it doesn't know how to interpret those numbers in the save, because it's using like a calibration that doesn't exist as far as the game is aware at this point. So it just makes 1 millisecond of audio calibration, 1,000 milliseconds of calibration. Your video
That's
calibration.
pretty cool.
Which is how I FC'd All Nightmare Long on Hard. We'll talk about that later. No, we won't. Just kidding.
Oh my god. Okay.
Broken note. Impossible note.
That's a
Stop.
deep cut. That's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut. That's how
Yeah.
you did it.
Fucking weird. That's how I did it, yeah. So if you can go up to 200 milliseconds maximum on any of these calibrations, on 200 milliseconds video, 200 milliseconds audio. But if every 1 millisecond is 1,000 milliseconds and you bring it back to the previous title update, you can get 200,000 milliseconds of lag, which is 3 minutes and 20 seconds. You can hit your notes 3 minutes and 20 seconds late if you were to do this exploit.
Let's fucking go.
You can skip songs. Like there's
Let's
many
fucking
songs that are
go.
shorter than 3 minutes and 20 seconds. It's a fucking
Yeah,
weird
I was
thing.
gonna say like Reptilia.
Reptilia, radio song,
Rock and Roll All Night, maybe.
Ruby, Rock and
Ruby?
Roll Night is probably one of them. Hit Me With Your Best Shot, perhaps. You know,
Yeah, Hit Me With
many
Your Best
songs.
Shot. Lots.
Oh, damn.
Lay Down
Lots
is
of
probably
songs you could just
approaching.
straight up skip. Yeah, that being
That's
said,
weird as
yeah,
shit.
That's
Yeah,
tick bursting, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
anyways, tick bursting, you can use that to great effect for squeezing. It's a big deal. There are many squeezes in Guitar Hero 3 that you need to hit a sustain late and activate to get the extra points on that tick burst. Because you can get like an extra like 50 points for essentially free. So it's actually a big deal. Moving on after that, though, let's talk about the timing windows. Guitar Hero 3, we already said it was a more sloppy engine than you're used to. And that's also because the timing window is just bigger. Generally speaking, the other games had 100 milliseconds front end and 100 milliseconds back end. Front end being before the note hits the strike line, and back end being after the note crosses the strike line. So Guitar Hero 3 actually has 116 milliseconds front end and 100 milliseconds back end. So you can hit a note 16 milliseconds earlier, which is the equivalent of 1 frame. So you can hit. There's 1 extra frame in the timing window than what you're used to from the previous games. But Hopos have an 86 millisecond front end. They have an infinite front end, so it always gets hit. But it gets hit 86 milliseconds before it hits that strike line. But if you were to strum it, you still get the 116 milliseconds. So if you are doing a squeeze that ends on a Hopo, it is better to strum that Hopo because you can hit it earlier if you strum it rather than if you were to actually use it as a hammer-on. So that's a small
I
little
didn't know
piece
that.
of small little tidbit. Thank you, Kyle Ruth, for
Interesting.
shouting that one out to me.
I did not know about that.
In fact, I can shout out to the entire Guitar Hero squeezing server that I'm in, private. You all know who you are. But I asked them questions about a whole bunch of different things, different quirks that I might have thought.
I thought that
about, so.
because of the infinite front end, like you would be hitting it as early as humanly possible.
You'd think.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
That's what I thought until you just said that right now. It's like,
Yep.
really,
You actually get
a strum
about
is
two-
really that much of a difference.
About 2 frames.
Man, this engine's fucking busted, dude.
It's fucking
Yeah.
weird.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it is.
This
You want to
is
hear? You want to
terrible.
hear super busted? Look at the next thing I have on here. Restarting from setlist versus restarting mid song. I guarantee you, none of you know this. This is hyper brain rot shit that only 2 people have used ever. Kind of, not really. So, when you're going for squeezes, and you're going, and you say you miss a squeeze, you just restart the song, right? That actually puts you at a slight disadvantage. Because when you load up a song from the set list, like you're just in the set list, you choose the song, the frames line up like slightly differently. Like it is easier to hit. It is easier to hit a squeeze. You get like one like the. I can't fully explain it. It's fucking weird, but the frames line up in such a way where there's like one frame difference, where like you get it. It's easier by one frame to hit a squeeze if you select it from the set list rather than restarting it during the song. So
now, does this happen on PS2 and Wii?
I have no clue. This is 360 for sure. I know for sure it's 360. It might be on the other ones too. But if you're going for a massive squeeze that you need every frame, you cannot just restart from the song because you won't hit it. Same thing goes for ticks. Like you get an extra frame of ticks. It's stupid and weird.
Dude,
I know
so
Joe D'Amelio has been one that used this frequently when he's been squeezing lower difficulties.
That means that every time that I was grinding a score on console and I was just restarting the song while I was in game, I was actually screwing myself.
Technically, yes. However, it's such a small difference; it really doesn't make a huge difference.
But you're saying that there's a chance.
There is a chance.
There's a chance, though.
There is a chance. There is a chance.
So you might as well chalk it up to that. You might as well go full copium and be like, I didn't get that. Sure. I strummed the hopo early. I
did everything I could, but I restarted mid-songs. But here's something that actually would affect you more so than the restarting mid-song. Audio calibration. It does a similar thing to what I just described with restarting from the set list for a mid-song. The audio calibration moves the frames at which notes line up. So, like, in a sense, your audio calibration affects your video calibration by one frame in some way or another. There's ways that audio rounds differently, so there's different like ideal numbers.
This another reason to shit on the PC port. By default, it's not 0 millisecond audio
100, right?
delay. It's 100. And so at that point, I was like, okay, something's wrong here. And so you need to have 175 millisecond audio lag on default. Just to make the fucking audio line up on the PC port.
There's a built-in 100 millisecond lag.
But it doesn't even end there. If you pause the song mid-song and you unpause, you'll visually see the fretboard slow down so that the notes can catch up with the audio. And that's why there's a practice mode slowdown on Guitar Hero 3 PC.
Oh my god!
Unless you set it to 0 milliseconds. Unless you set it to 0 milliseconds.
I try to forget that shit.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
It does. But then either the PC port or Neversoft's doing, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's Neversoft's doing because the slowdown also exists on Xbox and PS3.
They were still learning.
I don't know about PS2 and Wii, but it's definitely there on 360 and PS3.
Speaking of practice modes on PS2, it actually starts a little bit earlier before the section you choose.
Yes, PS2 practice mode is scuffed.
It's goated, actually, I think. I like it a lot.
I think it's awesome because
we
basically had like a fixed set A position and B position. If you start rampaging dragons, the outro rampaging dragons, you actually get to play the Red Snake on PS2.
Yeah.
That's how the Red Snake was first hit by J-Nukes. Was because he fucking started rampaging dragons and it would just started.
Yeah, it's perfect. You don't have to worry about hitting that first like green, red, yellow, and then yellow, blue, orange, and doing all the strumming. It's just right there immediately as soon as you want it.
Right there. Yep.
And for one, if you just choose Fast Solo A, you get a couple of strums in there too, so you can practice the transition from strums into taps.
I would have loved that shit.
It's like super like quality of life type shit, man.
Yeah, like that's honestly,
what I'm hoping.
That should make that a feature.
If there's I think I don't know if it was Frets on Fire or Phase Shift that had the set A position, set B position. I want to say it was just Phase Shift that did that, unless there was a faux fix mod that did that. But it was definitely Phase Shift before Clone Hero that had set A position and B position, which was like you can pause right where you wanted to practice something. You press set A position, and then you could restart the section, and it would start there. That's why like Clone Hero practice, Yarg practice is goated.
Yeah,
is because of that
just
right
choose
there.
Wherever.
No console games ever had that. So, like, you would have to go into practice mode, wait for the animation, wait for the loading screen, wait for the board to pop up, and then wait for the hard part if it didn't immediately start at the hard part. Or, God forbid, you're doing Darkness Fast Bridge to Fast Solo A. You have a while to wait.
It's a long-ass
it's a
long-ass wait.
That shit. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the thing is now is that you throw the chart into Moonscraper, and then you make custom sections, and then you play them as customs on GH3. Or whatever game you're trying to grind shit on. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you just got to brute force it now. But thank you, Onyx. At least it makes it easy. Sorry,
Oh,
we were talking
shut
a
up,
lot
Alex.
about Guitar Hero 3. This game is jank
Yeah,
as shit.
I think we're about done with Guitar 3. I can't think of anything else that we might want to bring up about it. So we can move
I think
on.
that's the largest info dump we'll have in this entire episode
so.
for sure.
I think so for
yeah,
sure.
and I think I
Smooth
just want to.
sailing.
I do want to just like part with this. It's like as much as we shit on this engine, shit on how much this is like enabled bad playing habits and stuff. This game did push the envelope for difficulty quite a bit.
It did.
There's like no undercharting in this game at all. If anything, it's overcharted.
Overcharted.
Everything
Yep.
in this game is like
Chords.
overcharted, heavily gamified.
They like their
and,
chords
like,
too.
Yeah,
Three note
They took
chords.
lots of triple note.
They took
chords,
a
man.
different approach compared to Harmonix in the charting department because
Yeah.
they wanted it to be more difficult than the Guitar Hero 2. That's what they wanted. Like I think that Chris Vance has essentially said that. Like they wanted it to be more difficult.
Yep.
Than the
Yeah,
previous.
and they weren't concerned about like necessarily accuracy. They wanted it to be fun. Like that was the
Yeah,
big
they
thing. So
paved the
something
way.
like Prayer of the Refugee. Why the fuck are all those all chords?
Yeah,
I
but
don't
then once
Be
I
more
figured
fun
out
than
that
singles.
Infinite Front End was a glitch,
Yeah.
well, that was my
Blew your
9/11.
mind.
So one more thing that I want to throw in for GH3, just because I think this is slightly important. As much as we joke about like the slop, or like we're just very matter of fact about it nowadays, I think it is worth bringing up that it did bring a lot of people into Guitar Hero that may not have enjoyed playing in rhythm. As weird as that sounds, right? Like people might just want to feel really good about hitting notes, and we see that with how Clone Hero turned out because they used a lot of the same stats for infinite front end and 86 milliseconds and et cetera, et cetera. So if it's connecting with people and getting them into the genre we love, then hey, I'm all for it. Open door, let's go.
Exactly. Yep.
That's great.
Absolutely.
It's a jumping off
But
point.
don't-
Gets
don't,
you, gets you
Thank
involved.
you, Guitar Hero 3.
But if you're watching a Rock Band video and you're seeing somebody struggling, you go like, "Oh, I hit this in Guitar Hero 3." Shut the fuck up.
That's
Not the same.
why.
Shut
Can't
the fuck
compare
up.
apples
That's,
to
that's why
oranges,
we're making.
legitimately.
That's why we're making these podcast episodes.
Yeah.
So that there's
Study
no
up.
misinformation spread. Yeah.
This is for
Listen
little
up.
Timmy.
Smarten up.
For little Timmy, who saw us FC Master Puppets on Fortnite Festival and say, "Oh, that's not hard. I did it in Guitar Hero Metallica." Shut the fuck up.
Play
Done.
it right now ASAP. Like when you're watching
Well,
this
now-
on Wednesday when it comes out, because you will have hours left on the old engine. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I
Yeah,
don't even know when they're
Don't
doing this
hate
update.
you. I believe in you. You
I
can
believe
FC
in you. You
Master
can
Puppet.
do
You
it.
can do it.
You can
You did
FC
it in
Master
Metallica.
Puppet.
If you're
Do
so
it.
good.
It's okay to be wrong.
Yes.
Yes, it is okay to be wrong.
Yes. We've all been
forgive you.
wrong in the past.
Speaking
you know,
of
we all
wrong,
learn.
We've
The
been wrong on
highway
this
in this
podcast.
game is terrible.
Oh,
Hey,
no.
good
Aerosmith.
segue. Good segue.
Yeah, great segue.
That
that's
is very
that's the
wrong.
biggest part about this game is the highway is shit. Joe Perry, they force you to play as Joe Perry when you're playing Aerosmith songs, and it's an awful highway. You lose the notes in
Yeah.
it. Yellow, blue specifically.
Bad.
Okay,
Bad
so
game design.
I will say this: playing it on an HD TV, it could be worse. It's not that bad. I still have problems seeing yellow hopos on the Joe
Yep.
Perry fretboard.
Mm-hmm.
But you played this shit on a CRT. Good luck.
Yeah,
good
fucking
man,
luck with it all
you
blurry and
Not
shit.
see yellow hopos. I
The
was like
pixels
getting
blend together
gaslit
real
by
bad.
the game. I was like, man, am I really this bad? But also, I found out that they fixed the hammer-on functionality. Infinite front end, you can't be as sloppy as you were in Guitar Hero 3. If anything, it's essentially what Guitar Hero 3 was supposed to feel like.
Yes.
And you can actually strum hopos in this game, like, and not be like punished.
not
heavily
be
for it.
like, yeah, you're not scared of overstrumming.
Yeah, you're
As
not scared of
much.
overstrumming or any inputs getting eaten, anything like that. So it's like, I don't have any gripes with this engine personally. I think it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. However, trails
especially
feel
after
a little bit weird. That could just be
it
on
is
me.
a little weird.
like
After
train kept
playing
rolling
it on
trails,
PC
Sweet Emotion.
earlier this year, I did the 125 full game on
Yeah.
on Aerosmith PC. I fuck with the engine. I understand. Playing
It's
it at
just
60
Guitar Hero
FPS
3
is
with a
not
bug
bad.
fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
and
hey,
a bad fretboard.
some people nowadays might not think, oh, Aerosmith was the first band game. Why did this, why did people care? Did it really sell decently?
Yes.
Hey,
It
first
did.
week sales for this game, 567,000 copies. And then according to Activision, Aerosmith made more money from this game than all of their albums combined.
It was
Yeah,
combined.
that's
The Guitar Hero effect.
I thought it was any individual album, but it's combined.
Any sales of their previous albums. Any.
And at this point,
That's insane.
they've been a band for like what 30, 40 years at this point. It was like 30
yeah,
years.
I mean, they
it was like
started
30
in the
years.
70s,
It was
early
like the
70s.
30th anniversary of being a band, probably. Oh, maybe earlier.
By
But-
April 2010, the game had seen more than 3.6 million units sold.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this game
Oh,
came out
and
at
you know
the
what?
height of the Guitar Hero popularity. It was the
The-
follow up to Guitar Hero 3. It
Strike
looked like
while the
Guitar
iron's
Hero
hot.
3. You know,
Yeah, they
Mhm.
kind of fixed the neck connection on the Les Paul. Kind of.
I don't think they did.
They
I
had-
think it's
they
the
had
exact
better
same.
No,
I think
capacitors.
it's
no, they
success.
didn't.
They had better capacitors. It lasted
No.
like 5 more days.
I don't know.
Then-
I think you're making this up. It was all shit. It was all bad.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right,
As far as I
moving
know, all
on.
Les Paul was in-
Oh wait.
Okay,
Well, I want to talk about the online co-op Star Power glitch.
Yeah.
Sure.
Man, what a piece of shit that glitch was on Guitar Hero 3 PC. So, or Guitar Hero 3 in general.
Guitar 3
so,
period. Yeah.
Guitar Hero 3, if you played online co-op and you and your partner were playing a song and it was a star power phrase that ended on the same note at the same time as the other person, it would only show up as one star power phrase. Really fucking annoying. Only
When in
online.
reality,
Yeah.
you should have gotten 2 because one player got it, other player got it. That's a star power activation. Normally, with 2 phrases.
And
Mm-mm.
so for Timmy living in California and Johnny living in New York, they can't meet up. They're playing online, but they're probably the best players ever. They're losing out on so many points.
Yep,
If they
they
wanted to
cannot
score
compete
grind and
with
be on the
top
top of those leaderboards, they are fucked. Capital
do it.
F.
Wow.
So they fixed that in Guitar Hero Aerosmith, and well, I can't say I've played co-op online on Guitar Hero Aerosmith since the game came out, but it was nice knowing about it.
I do want to.
I didn't even know they fixed it for this game, so that's cool.
I want to throw in one little fun fact before we move on. This was not the first video game that Aerosmith was featured in.
Oh no.
The first one.
Oh yeah, I know what
was
you're talking about.
Revolution X in
Revolution X!
1994,
Yeah.
which was similar to the Terminator 2 video game. If that tells you anything you
What
need
the
to
fuck?
know.
Weren't you throwing vinyls? I swear it was vinyls you were throwing as weapons. Oh,
I just
man.
saw that-
the really scuffed voice
Yeah.
lines of Steven Tyler.
Yes. I thought that would be a fun mention. You know, just
That's all
because.
news to me.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero World Tour. Next game up.
Next
Here
big
we
one.
are.
Next
It's
big,
a big
one.
boy.
Now, this is the next like mainline entry in the series.
Yep,
You know, on the
Guitar Hero
surface,
4.
like it got an entire facelift. They added vocals and drums. We'll get to that in a second. But for the guitar engine, if we're talking just primarily strumming and hammer-ons, feels exactly like Guitar Hero Aerosmith.
It's Aerosmith
Except for
through and
maybe
through.
like I want to say strumming. They started implementing like a double strum protection
It
because like
definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can like overstrum a whole bunch, and I noticed this when I was grinding Hot for Teacher back in the day. Sometimes in like the long strings, the strumming in the outro, I wasn't sure if I was ending on an up or a down, and so I was like, "Damn, this is kind of weird." So like, I don't know.
Janky.
I
Very
felt that
janky.
in with the Ted Nugent guitar battle in that one story.
Yeah. Oh,
part.
dude, that's like
and,
Oh, yeah,
was that
one
like,
strumming
was that like
bit.
17 notes per second? Like,
Yeah, like why
it
is
wasn't
it
that
so
fast. It's pretty fast, but there's no hopos, and it's changing frets all the time. It's like this feels weird.
Oh,
thing with, Trapped Under Ice.
I'm confusing parts then.
Assassin's
the
ending.
really fast little bit. There's like 8
There's
strums
a little
there.
fast
Yeah.
bit. Oh,
I know-
yeah,
I know what you're talking
Assassin,
about now.
dude, Assassin
Assassin's
is a
ending.
Assassin is a perfect example
Yes.
because I remember like accenting my down strums. And I was like, how did I fucking start being on an up strum? What happened here?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
this is just the
Hey,
beginning of
yeah.
like the strumming becoming a weird issue in the game.
Yeah,
Personally,
this
I think
becomes a recurring theme.
Personally, I
actually.
think it's worse in Guitar Hero Metallica. I think that strumming engine's fucked, but sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Guitar Hero World Tour, just in general, strums, hopos feel exactly like Aerosmith for the most part. At least like hopo, like, and now in Guitar Hero 3 in Aerosmith, you could not tell how early you have hit a note. You only see how late you hit a note.
Yeah,
But-
because if you hit a note early before the hit window,
Go to
the
strike
note
line.
doesn't disappear. Yeah, the strike line. Sorry. So if you hit the note early, the note doesn't like disappear as soon as you hit it. The flame will come up, but the note is still like coming down the highway, even though it's been
Tony
hit.
Hawk engine.
Yeah, the note doesn't disappear until it hits the strike line. But in these following games here, it disappears as soon as you hit it.
Fun fact, Fast GH3 has a modifier for that. You can see how
Really?
early you hit a note in
Wow.
Fast GH3.
Really?
It's
I thought that would look
really
weird.
GH3.
Really cool.
That's cool
It
as
is
hell.
so cool, and it is very cursed. It might be helpful for squeezing. If you
I want
are,
to see that.
Yeah, it is very cool. It is a really, really cool feature. Shout out to Wesley. I never thought
that's cool.
I'd be plugging Fast GH3, but here we are.
Plugging
Um,
GH3 PC in 2024.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, Hey man, it was a whole redemption arc for him, and he's doing some
It
great
really
stuff.
was.
He's doing cool
Seriously.
stuff there. Yeah, I've seen.
Like
it on
you
Twitter.
can make Guitar Hero 3 look exactly like Guitar Hero 2. Scuff.
Yeah.
That's sick.
It's awesome.
And Rock Band
It's
1.
awesome. And Rock Band
Rock
1.
Band 1, yeah.
You have
Which is
video
even
backgrounds.
crazier.
Yeah. Specifically
Yeah.
Rock Band 1 PS2. Anyway, Guitar Hero World Tour. Yeah, you can see how early you can hit a note now. This is the first Guitar Hero game with overlapping star power. And
That's
the recurring
weird
thing-
for people right
Yeah.
here because, hey, if you didn't play the early games, this is something we haven't really focused on. If you activated star power and there was a star power phrase underneath the notes you were activating on, you just missed it.
Yep.
It was gone.
Overlapped. You don't have any indication that there was one there.
Yeah,
Oh,
it didn't
fun
tell
Unless
you.
you already
fact,
knew it.
On Guitar Hero 3, there are some optimal paths that require you to activate over star
Like
power
Impulse,
phrases.
right?
Cult,
Yes.
Cult's personality.
Yeah.
Cult's personality. Stricken. Am I
Weird.
wrong there?
So
I think
Oh,
weird.
I'm confusing it. I'm confusing it with No Whammy. But
Yeah,
it was
there's like a no
definitely
whammy
definitely
immediate
Cult's
phrase on
personality.
Stricken. That's
and
the
Impulse.
first one that comes to my mind too. Impulse.
But there's a funny little
Impulse,
glitch if you
definitely.
activate over a star power phrase. Game would fucking glitch out and the gems
Yeah.
would get really big.
Yeah.
For a
Yeah.
second.
Big note. Big note.
And for some reason, they didn't have a big note cheat in the 316 PS3 versions of Guitar Hero 3.
Yeah,
But
done
it was in
PS2
PS2
and
and Wii.
yeah, super weird. But you can get your
So-
big notes if you activate over star power. So
You can get your big notes, or if
Somehow.
you play GH3 PC, you can set the gem size.
yeah, you make whatever the fuck size you
Make
want.
whatever size you want.
Truth.
Yeah,
Um,
but overlapping star power was a big deal because Rock Band had it. Skipping ahead, but Rock Band had it, and that came out at the same time as Guitar Hero 3. So I feel like they pulled this directly from Rock Band.
Yeah.
But it made a big difference for squeezing and pathing and all that stuff because I mean everything had to change because now
Changes
you're
it
free
entirely.
to activate wherever you want. You're no longer constrained by where's
Which-
the next one? I have to activate between here and there, so I don't overlap this. You can go wherever.
It's funny because it makes it in some ways easier, but some ways more challenging.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, it actually is.
Just
Yeah,
different-
I think it is a bit more challenging
Yeah.
because there's more opportunities.
Yes. you
And
have to play
now,
more carefully.
let's get to the big one, slider notes. 'Cause they
Fuck
had a-
you, slider
they had
notes.
a
You
hilarious,
suck.
they had a hilarious gimmick that they were talking about. I don't know if it was. I think it was E3 2008. They had Brian Bright on stage, talking about it,
Yeah, that's the
talking
Brian
about
Bright.
how there's a touch slider on the controller itself. I don't have it. Oh wait, I do. have
Jake's
a
got
controller
one.
with the slider.
If you've ever wondered what this thing is here on the neck of your guitar, this is the slider bar. This is you can't really use this in Clone Hero or any other game you use, but this was how you would hit the slider notes. Is how it was intended to be hit. No strumming required. You just move your finger along it. You slide your finger to hit the sliders. Never worked.
Or you could
was
use
bad.
it as tapping and
or
you
strumming.
Tap it to strum.
It's true. You
which,
could do
by
this.
the
and
way,
you can strum
I don't know if you've
or
ever
whammy.
I don't know if you've ever tried like doing fast strumming with it, but it's a disaster. Don't do it.
It don't work that
Don't.
great. Like you can make a
Don't.
butterfly. It doesn't like actually do that well though.
Have you tried it on the GH5 slider? I know you said those sliders are a bit better.
Yeah,
They
this
are
is
better.
this is a world tour guitar. You can tell if it's a world tour one because it's all this is like a perfect rectangle. They're nice right angles. But on the Guitar Hero 5 guitar, they're rounded corners.
Yeah,
that was
Rounded,
much
and
better.
They have little indents, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, there are different indents in there to tell you which one's
Because,
which.
Yeah, no,
but
I mean, they wanted you to see like, oh yeah, this is green, red, yellow, blue, orange, right? But then like if you play it, it's a touch slider. It's a touch strip.
actually, hold on. My slider is just all black. This is a Wii
Some
one.
of them-
What
some of them
neck
came
is that
like
one
that.
for?
Fun fact.
That might-
Yeah,
that
some
might
of
be
them
a-
like that.
This one was a Wii neck.
So they started including stickers after a while for the slider bar.
Hmm.
Yeah, but those aren't stickers. What Alec has, those are printed on
Yeah,
there.
these are printed on.
They
That's-
I think that they stopped printing them because the process was probably a bit more
It adds more complexity.
expensive.
also nobody fucking used
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
this is a
exactly.
failed
Literally there for a
implementation.
party trick.
That that World Tour, Jake, that you have is in between World Tour and 5, basically.
Man,
it's an
This is a later model. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've
I
actually never
know-
noticed that they were there before until I saw yours versus mine. I'm like, it's all black, the honest
I
colors.
was like, I thought you did that yourself. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Man, okay, I know that they wanted to keep making new things for the guitars and keep making it a way for people to buy new ones and things. This feels very much like the skateboard from Tony Hawk when they were trying to do what it ride.
yeah,
Like-
just a gimmick.
Well, that was
You
the
know-
same era, too. That was the
Yeah.
same era.
I was
you
gonna
know?
say, I think it's like an answer to solo buttons, but solo buttons actually had a legitimate use
Yes.
did.
over, like fucking the Riffmaster has it, for crying out loud, man.
Even though it's not
Kinda
used in
proves that,
festival.
like people actually use this shit. It's for kids that
Yeah.
don't want to be like this playing.
Yeah, the guitar's
controller.
too big.
Yeah.
All right, Timmy,
My
use this.
tiny fingers fit better on the small ones.
And so, like, the solo buttons actually also have a use in Rock Band. It turns everything into tap notes.
In
if
solos.
you wanted to. Yeah, only solos. Yeah, only for solos. But then also it benefited, like, kids playing the game, too. And the target market of these games were kids. Or, you know, just people with fucking small hands could just benefit from playing on that. But what the fuck is the touch slider doing? You're gonna look stupid playing hot... waiting 30 seconds for the Hot for Teacher intro to come up. Ew!
And then failing out of the song for just sliding your shit. It didn't work. Nobody really used it.
Enough about talking about the gimmick. How did they work in game? They
didn't. They didn't work.
In World Tour. Okay, specifically in World Tour. Okay, there's something wrong with just all of the timing.
Yes.
I think it's just we haven't done enough of the research, but we have found out over time that the reason why these are so bad is that when they're very close together, you have to be extremely cautious with
the
how
timing
you're
windows
playing
overlap.
because the timing windows actually overlap. And what that means is that if there's like, say that there's like a really fast like red yellow trill, overkill, man, fuck that. So what would happen is that on top of the no infinite front end, these new note property types that have different timing than hammer-ons and pull-offs, the timing windows like are individual for each of the notes, and so you can actually hit like a red note before like you can hit the next red note before the next yellow note in a red yellow trill.
Yeah, let's just keep it simple. Let's just say not even a trill, just red, yellow, red. That's all it is. Just three sliders, red, yellow, red. If you hit that first red late, you intend to hit that first red, but you hit it late. If it's past the timing window, if it's like just slightly past it, it'll hit that second red instead of the first. It'll skip over the first red and the yellow, and then hit that second red. It's dog shit, guys. It's really bad.
People squeeze on slider notes. I don't know how they do that.
Insane.
That's insane.
Yeah, you gotta be fucking careful. You gotta be fucking careful is what you gotta do. You can't squeeze too hard. You have to be very
these
accurate
are
with
notes
your
that haven't, to my knowledge, haven't really been documented, but it's just been from player experiences and just people who were like, okay, why are these slider notes so bad?
And I can speak a lot on it because I guess it wasn't me. It was actually Marbler, famous Marbler who beat Super Mario 64 without jumping ever.
Shout out to
you might have heard him.
Marbler.
Also, the first Guitar Hero full series F-Seer. The full series. Balls Frank was the first one, but that was before Warriors of Rock. But that's beyond that.
Rest in peace.
He F-Seed Satch Boogie using the slider bar because I don't think we mentioned this yet. You don't have to use the slider bar. It's there if you want to, but you can still fret these notes normally, like you would any other note, and you don't have to strum them. So that's what sliders do. You don't have to strum them, and you can fret them normally if you want. So what Marbler did was the Satch Boogie Trill. It's like it all oranges, and then you have lower notes, so you anchor down here. So normally, if you wanted to hit that, you would just. It's not that slow, but still, you'd probably butterfly.
Yeah.
But
That's how I do it,
Marbler
yeah.
did.
Oh, dude, fucking Guitar Hero Phenom. He alt taps the first two sets of trills, and then
I've
he
never been able to do that.
vibros the rest of it.
Yeah, then he vibed.
It doesn't work for me. I fuck up the transitions. But Marbler decided to use the fretting hand for the lower notes, and he would tap the slider bar to hit all the oranges. So he would just, and it worked for him in his FC. And this was like in 2010. Like this is like the first and only time that I've ever seen this done before that. But then when I was going for my Satch Boogie FC, when I was playing through World Tour, like in 2018 or whatever, I was struggling so fucking much with that trill. I couldn't FC it for the life of me. So then I went looking at videos of how people did it in the past, and I saw Marbler did it with the fucking slider bar. I'm like, huh? Are you insane? But no, he's not insane. It works so much better. I think it does.
He is insane, but
well, yeah, he is insane. He just beat Mario 64 without jumping ever. It took him like 80-something hours. The dude's actually insane.
Yeah.
But
dude,
what I think happens.
Same guy.
Go for it.
When I was talking to him the other day, like I was picking his brain about like GH1 and stuff, and he's like, "Man, I want to go for full game FC GH1 with the Hopos. I think it's possible." I'm like, "You're insane. You're absolutely insane." And he, you think half A press is crazy? I mean, it is crazy, but this motherfucker told me he's like he wants to do GH1 full game FC all Hopos, not a single strum on a Hopo. I believe.
My stomach dropped.
That's so fucked. I've never considered that as a thing that people could think of doing.
Oh,
and he doesn't even want like a Hopo glitch fix because that also exists in Guitar Hero 1, like we said last episode. But like he was just like, yeah, I want to do it like straight up, legit, the entire way. And so I think I wanted to bring this up because I think it came to my attention. Sneakcoot said that the Hopo glitch happens when you fret a wrong note on a Hopo. And so that's why it's not exactly consistent. Does that like ring a bell to you guys? I didn't try it because I didn't hook up my PS2. I didn't try.
No, I didn't do any
PCSX2.
testing. The what
But,
I
like-
always heard was the explanation is like if you like missed a Hopo note and then paused and restarted immediately. That's what I heard. What did it? But I've never like known exactly what happens and why it happens. I just know it does. But fretting a wrong note on a Hopo seems more likely, honestly.
I think that's what can consistently have the Hopo glitch happen. Because I
seems
also
likely.
do remember JPrez theory crafting, and he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna purposefully Hopo glitch this so I can see, so if I can squeeze on this Hopo a bit better than if it
Ooh,
was."
I like that.
Yeah, like I was like, "That's crazy," and so he was intentionally fretting a wrong button on a Hopo to get it Hopo glitched, so that he can extended hit window it or whatever. I don't remember what he was doing.
Make it easier to it'd be easier to squeeze on that rather than a Hopo. 'cause
yeah.
it's
Anyway,
easier-
we're getting
'cause then you
carried
can
away.
Control. Yeah. Anyways, back to the slider bar. I think why the slider bar works better for the Satch Boogie Trail specifically, and for anything that's really fast, is I believe that whole overlapping hit window thing that we were talking about with the notes, because the Satch Boogie Trail is infamous for this because it's so fast. So you have to like hit everything really early or perfectly on time because your orange taps will just go to the next orange because it's already overlapping past the blue. So I think the slider bar just negates this. I think it is like a separate engine entirely for that slider bar. I think overlapping hit windows like don't matter. I think it might be like a static hit window for the slider bar. I think just in general. So I think
Maybe.
you might have like a static hit window for the orange taps, and you have a dynamic one for the fretted anchor notes. That's my theory. I haven't seen anybody like corroborate this or have hard data to support it, but that's how it feels to me. Because if you go back and watch my FC on my channel, I fall behind. I'm hitting shit later than you should.
I believe you.
So I have a question real quick because I just don't know. I never use the slider enough.
Lucky.
Can you
Lucky.
over tap on this on the slider bar? Can you over tap or does it have to be?
I think there's over tap protection. I think you can because you can slide like the Hot for Teacher intro. You're not going to be skipping notes. Like some of them, it goes from like, green,
Now-
red, yellow, orange. Like you're skipping blue. I'm pretty sure you can just keep sliding and you can hit that blue and it doesn't drop your combo.
That's
Now,
what I'm saying. Can you
JP,
spam it?
You probably can.
JP, you remember when that when the Red Octane guy was posting the prototype guitars
Yes.
on eBay, and it was that Les Paul with the touch slider, right?
Yeah, it was a
It looked like it was like
prototype.
a high quality touch slider.
Yeah, so I think that Brian Bright. I feel like Brian.
Yeah,
Bright
Brian Bright
commented
did
on
actually
that.
say that on Twitter.
and he had basically said that their initial plans were higher quality, I guess,
They had to
and
cheap out.
they had to, because of budget constraints and how like production costs, they had to go down to a more cost-effective solution, which ended up kind of biting them in the ass. Which that's why the GH5 slider is better, because it actually uses an IC chip to handle all of the inputs and everything.
Was getting
like,
Michael Jackson
the-
for World Tour worth it?
Yeah, the frets
To
the
compromise
frets go
your
through the
hardware.
slider bar on that one.
Was getting
But-
getting an Eagles pack worth it? Ah!
Welcome to the
Real Don
hotel.
Literally not.
DMCA.
we
Uh-oh.
already got
Shh,
DMCA'd
shh, shh,
by
shh,
Jeff
DMCA.
saying that.
Channel's
The
gone.
video's
deleted.
down.
Thanks.
The video's
gone.
I
gone.
almost
I'm gonna have to
definitely
censor you.
want you to mute Jason there.
I'm
actually so afraid of
If
that
I remember, I'll do it.
We're at the
Just don't even
54-minute
say
mark.
HC.
50, like
Yeah.
literally at the 54-minute mark, he starts singing Hotel California.
Okay.
I-
Noted.
Welcome to the no.
Ah!
No, shut up.
Jungle!
Okay.
We got fun and games. There we go.
Hey,
Something-
speaking of fun
something
and
to be the
games,
Spirit here.
speaking of fun and games, there's something missing on this slide that got added to World Tour. We got to throw in here a new
The biggest
feature
one.
in an engine, and it actually eventually ended up in games we know today. Open Notes. This is their debut.
True,
This was
on
the
bass.
first.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Actually.
on bass.
This is the first
On
game that
bass
ever had
only.
Open Notes drums.
Yep. Well, this is actually the first game that you could just play bass as its own standalone thing. Otherwise, you had
Yes.
to play it in either practice or
Co-op.
co-op.
Practice or
Practice,
So now you
co-op,
can play
yeah.
bass. So they had to differentiate bass in some way more different than guitar. So they added opens. So there's
Added
actually
open notes.
kind of a sixth fret, if you want to call it that. There's a sixth note type.
Yeah.
So you could actually
Ish.
chart sixth fret if you want to call it that on bass.
I don't
I
think
won't
there's
call it
any.
that, though.
I don't know if there's anything wrong with like how open notes are played. I think they just kind of nailed it.
I think so too. Yeah.
I
They
don't
were
think there's any
misunderstood
problems
back
with
in the
it.
day. You know how
Very.
people talk about lifts nowadays in Fortnite Festival? Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand these. These suck. I don't like playing them. That was open notes up until
I don't know,
Clone Hero.
man. When Clone Hero got popular and people,
Oh, G3PC actually, they implemented open notes.
yeah, Exile. I remember those
Exile
streams
did
where he
that.
was making open notes for Guitar Hero 3 PC. We didn't think
Oh
he'd
man.
we didn't think that he would have his mind intact when he made open notes, but he fucking did it. I think slider notes may have been like worse than or tap notes for GH3 PC may have been a worse process, at least from the live streams, than getting open notes in the game. But yeah, that was kind of a big thing because I know they wanted like Guitar Hero 3. They wanted open notes in the game.
Think so?
They pushed. I think it's either Hopo chords or open notes.
Oh, they
They
definitely
wanted
wanted
it in
Hopo
the game.
chords. You could tell that
Definitely
from
Hopo
the Master Puppets prototype one. Like, you could tell that they wanted it to be a slide up
Yeah.
on the chord. But
Yeah, no, straight up.
yeah, besides implementation of bass opens, we also have drums and vocals.
Drums
We
and
have new
vocals.
instruments. This is
And
Rock Band
the
from
drums
Guitar
and-
Hero.
both engines suck.
Okay, so the drums,
Yeah,
the drums
they
were a
tried.
big deal because the drum sets themselves had MIDI out or MIDI
Yes.
in.
Yes.
Sorry, MIDI
Yes,
in.
you-
So
MIDI
you
in.
could take your Roland kit, whatever MIDI kit you want, set it to the right MIDI notes, and then you could just play with the best controller ever. The one that cost fucking $5,000, or back in the day it was like $2,000 for like one of these.
Fiction.
The entry level for like Roland kits now is so low compared to back then. It's not like groundbreakingly low, but like it's still much lower than it used to be. And so like
Got a lot more entry level stuff.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, like the drums engine was an engine.
It's pretty
'cause they
scuffed.
have instead of Rock Band where they had drum fills or like a crash to hit at the end of a measure, instead what they did is that they made it so you would have to hit yellow and orange cymbals. Now, I think the biggest flaw in guitar, one of the biggest flaws for Guitar Hero drums is making cymbals a main part of a kit. Now, if you are the biggest rhythm game in the world at this point, and you're forcing these motherfuckers to use cymbals as your main like controller bit, I don't know. It's like they never lasted for me. The cymbals, they never did. Like you had to plug in the
connections
little
were
wires.
frail. Like the wires
Yeah.
nowadays,
The
if you find
wires would
a
just,
kit
like-
nowadays, they're
They're
disintegrated.
usually
Yes.
yeah, they're disintegrated.
Legitimately,
So whatever
like
material-
disintegrated. If you touch them, they will crumble and fall apart.
Yeah, like
through
whatever
dust.
sleeving
I'm not joking.
material they used for those wires was just no
So
good.
It
broke down
They
quick.
cheaped out big time.
They probably had
which
to.
It
That's
makes
probably
sense.
an
They were
expensive piece of
making-
hardware.
I think I had
They were
a
making two
World Tour
instruments.
drum pedal with a fully exposed wire, and it still
Yeah.
worked. It still worked. I
Oh,
still
all
was
the
used
it
it.
was
all the
copper,
sheeting
baby.
was just gone. Yeah,
Yeah, but
they built
all
those
of
things
it-
cheaply.
Yeah, all of it was just fucking
And-
gone. It still worked.
Yeah,
though.
because Rock Band drums, skipping ahead kind of. There's only 4 pads. That's just it. You got your red, yellow, blue, green, and but Guitar Hero World Tour wanted to differentiate themselves because again, Rock Band's been out for a year at this point when Guitar Hero World Tour came out. So they had red, blue, green pads, but they had yellow, orange cymbals. So they actually had 5 lanes instead of 4, and the cymbals are integrated. It wasn't an option like in Guitar or Rock Band 2. They added cymbal support, but it was an optional thing. But the World Tour drums.
oh no.
Oh, that's his wire. Oh, it looks so bad. Oh, that's a
So
Rock
bad.
Band one.
Oh, that's a
That's
Rock,
a Rock Band
Band
2
wire.
pedal. I think that's
Oh,
Rock Band.
no.
Yeah, that's
Oh
Rock
shit,
Band
his
2.
Rock Band was falling apart
Yo.
too.
Yo, they disintegrate. Just saying. Had to
Rock
show
Band
it.
ones.
Nobody
I
is
didn't even know Rock Band
nobody
ones
is
did.
safe. Nobody's
Nobody's
safe.
exempt.
Holy shit. There could be a real business out there
So-
for
I'll wait until
refurbing
Jason gets back
cables.
for this, but I was going to talk as a result of activating yellow and orange cymbals. Came a lot of problems with drums.
It was terrible. I had huge issues.
But they
with
fixed
when
it
I was a
immediately.
kid.
So yeah, okay. I want to wait until Jason came back because I think he probably Jason, you remember because they had yellow and orange to activate. If you did that over the top a note that wasn't yellow or orange on drums, it would just fly past the strike line. You wouldn't lose your combo.
You wouldn't lose your combo.
But the game would tell you if you FC that song is a 99% and you miss that note.
Sucked.
Great game.
And
Mhm.
also the timing needed. You had to hit the yellow and orange almost like frame perfect. At least for World Tour.
I didn't
But-
play a ton of World Tour drums because I knew they sucked and it felt bad. I
it
played
wasn't
drums
fun for me.
furthermore. I really didn't even know about that.
Really bad, dude.
was never a fan of the 3-pad 2 cymbal, and I never really got into it because of that. Like, I always played more Rock Band drums. The 4-pad just
me
felt
too.
better.
Me too. I mean, that's how we started playing drums, kind of, I guess, unless you played real drums. But I felt like the hardware was better for Rock Band.
Like, it was kind of like a, everyone just kind of agreed. It's like, oh yeah, Guitar Hero's got 5 pads and a bass pedal, therefore it's better. And it also helped the case when we can. We still have to talk about vocals, but then like Guitar Hero Metallica. This is like when Guitar Hero drums were actually kind of accepted as being better because Rock Band 3 hadn't come out yet. So like you can use whatever drum kit you want if you had like an expensive Roland kit. You had the 5 lanes, and all that good stuff.
Or you could use a Rock Band kit too. They were
use a
compatible.
Rock
It would just
Band
go to
kit.
4 lanes.
That engine was terrible, though. You can. It was an afterthought just
it
for
was worse.
compatibility. I do appreciate the fact that it does exist. Like, you can just use a Rock Band kit on Guitar Hero World Tour, and it just works. You can you can play the drum charts just fine. It may be a little bit weird because there's no toms charted to yellow at all. It's just for the hi hat. And like playing Everlong, they didn't have disco flips, and so if you had a Rock Band 1 or 2 kit, you're going like this.
Oh, dude, Brian Storm, fucking GH5.
Oh, it was
yeah.
awful.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Brian Storm. You're just
Brian Storm
crossing over all the time.
crossing over all the time. I think at that point I had my Ions though, so it was a bit
You did.
better.
I remember
you
your
can move it to
FC
wherever you want to
video.
be.
That was a fun time.
Yeah.
Vocals were
real quick
dog
before
shit.
we move off of drums, though, I'm pretty sure the
Oh.
drum kits themselves were just cheaply made. Every drum kit that I had that was Guitar Hero had bad crosstalk. Like eventually, like hitting green
There's a
would activate
famous,
blue
not
all the
famous,
time.
but there was like the little promo clip of Brian Bright talking about the quality of the controllers for World Tour, and he goes, "Those drums, they're not gonna break."
Yeah, we were beating the crap out of them, and they're not going to break. And then Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers like, it feels just like playing real drums. It shows him playing. Yeah, that's just
And
marketing.
I guess
Don't
like
listen to
they
marketing.
did, and like from what I said earlier, it's like having cymbals be one of the main parts of your kit. Just having so much room for error, so many faulty gateways. Like
If you hit
it's
that
just
shit too
with a
hard,
wire.
you're going to break it.
You're gonna break the shit out of it too. And then those like the toms, like the snare, and then the blue and the green, they cracked so easily too. You had to use the sticks that came with the drum kit in order
Don't
for
use the
it
heavier
not to
ones.
break. No, they were not heavy. The Guitar Hero drumsticks
No, they were light as
shit.
fuck.
They were extremely light.
They might
But
be
like if
hollow
you used
wood in there. I don't
anything
even know.
heavier than that, yeah, it's over.
Yeah,
So yeah, I want to talk about vocals.
Also has a
real quick.
bad engine. Yeah, you talk about it. I know nothing about vocals.
The
just that
vocals
it's
engine
fucked up.
sucks, dick. I don't know. Yeah, there's only one song that almost everybody can get 100%. So this is the most anal, most like it judges you for every little bit of your pitch. This is like karaoke mode, like on Judgment Day. You know what I mean? Like the rapture is coming. You know what I mean? You
God
better
comes
sing.
out from heaven and he says you must sing this song perfectly to get into heaven. Which song?
And
you
it's Hocus
choosing?
Pocus Focus. He forces you to sing that.
Great choice.
But
Whatever.
Everybody's
like
going to hell.
if you were off pitch by even just a little bit, and like
For a
I think
millisecond.
like a millisecond, like it you would not be in contender for 100%. But
No.
it did also count if you're keeping your combo via green flashes and gold flashes. The gold flashes were like the perfects, and then the green flashes were the you get to keep your combo. And then there were yellow flashes where it was like, okay, that wasn't so good. And then the red flashes or the white flashes were just like you just completely missed.
Mhm.
I think that's how the colors went. Someone can correct me. I don't have time to pull up a video right now because we're kind of like blazing through
We're in
this.
the middle of something here.
I think
But
you're right.
I will say that there's only been, I believe there's only one other song that's been fully 100%ed, and that was Pretty Vacant by the Sex Pistols.
Yep.
I
and
believe that
who
was
did
done
that?
by
Was that,
Airshock.
Airshock, yeah.
Airshock 22.
22.
Airshock,
Yeah.
And that's probably like one of the only tracks where you can do that, but it's still mind-boggling because in that song there's 2 times where it goes da da da.
I think Sneakhoot might have just gotten another World Tour vocals
He's been doing a
FC
lot of vocal
recently.
stuff, right?
Maybe.
What the
I wouldn't
fuck
put
is
it
his
past
Twitter
him.
again?
He's been on the grind. It's something Fred something.
Oh, Fred. Yep, Fred. Like if I just type in Fred, I get Fred Durst. Fredo Bang.
Just one of those days.
It's just one of those days.
Yeah, I want to say that there's been another vocals FC done. I don't remember what song
Probably,
it was.
yeah.
100% FC. We have to
100%, yeah.
FC in the context of Guitar Hero World Tour is just that. It's a full combo. Combo meaning you hit every phrase, not perfectly, because the 100% means you hit everything actually perfect. Because you only have to hit like maybe like 80% of the phrase well enough to be counted for like you hit it, you get 1+ combo. But the 100% perfect would be like, the line's coming on the screen and that you have to match your pitch to reach that line. It turns yellow when you actually hit it. Everything has to be yellow. If any little bit of that is not yellow, as if you hit it perfectly, you are not getting 100%. You'll get 99 or less or 8. There's 100. There's like
I think you can
FCs that have 80%.
All gold flashes can still be like a 98, I believe.
Yeah, you have to be like literally perfect. Like the only way you're going to get an FC is if you have like a MIDI program
is No Sleep
programmed
Till
to the song.
Yeah, you have to do No Sleep Till Brooklyn for a full 100% vocals FC.
Because that's full talkies. So all you have to do is make noise.
I would love to see another one happen, other than the, Pretty Vacant, and then you said there's another one. We'll have to look at that.
Yeah, if I find that in time, I'll put it on the screen.
I remember the joke in game for Satch Boogie vocals, but did it actually score it?
No, so those
you couldn't play
they
that
had
solo.
little mechanics. They had little mechanics where you just amp up the crowd for band mode, and then you would just get a little extra star power. That's all it was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they
Fair
also
enough.
had the freeform wave mechanic. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
And-
But that's a weird mechanic though, because
I had to
it's not
think about that
necessarily
for a second.
freeform. It's like they want you to do a certain pitch to get like the most points.
They
from
wanted you to
It's
do
really
it in
odd.
the key in the one of the harmonies of the song. So
Yeah.
the one that I learned with was with Misery Business, because she goes hit that snare, and then there's a freeform channel, and basically how it worked is that you could get points. Oh, drums also had this too. They had freeform
They
bits
did
too.
have, yeah.
Yes.
You
On
just
Tool
spam the
songs,
shit out of the
you
drums
just
and you get
spam
more
the shit out of
points.
the drums. It was loud as fuck, and you get extra points for it.
Yeah.
But then for vocals, it was a wave, freeform wave thing, and you had to do it to the tune of the song, the harmonies of the song. So for Misery Business, it's like, I don't know what the fucking key is, but like the harmony of the song, you would go, and then you would get a fucking like 10 times 10 with like 5,000, like 500 points. So you get like an extra 5,000 points like off the rip before you even start singing.
And it's a
So,
big deal.
It's
like
kind of a
actually
big
a
deal.
huge
Maybe
deal.
it's not
If
that
you're going
high.
for
I'd have to
scores.
look it up. But
There are some that are
is-
massive. You can get like many thousands, like tens of thousands of points from
Yeah.
these things.
And
you
like
can
doing
activate
it
star
on
power on it,
vocals, you get star power from it too. And doing it on vocals isn't as like abrasive as doing it on drums, because on drums you can just spam the notes, and you get a whole bunch of points, but it's loud and annoying. So you don't want to have that in a video, or you don't want to do that in your online session. Oh, speaking of online with World Tour, a very funny quirk about this engine. If you played online with any drummer and they were using a Rock Band kit, it would still show up in the game as a 5-lane kit. Every orange note would
I
just
remember that.
fly by, and it would be
Yeah.
muted.
Yeah.
Oh.
looks like
So the
awesome.
only way that you could tell, and I think at some point it didn't even matter. Like something broke, and even if you do play with a 5-lane kit, the orange notes still do not register. And on
Very
World
cool
Tour,
and good.
maybe they fixed that in World Tour Definitive Edition. I don't know. But I just remember that on 360, I was like, oh yeah, this guy's using a Rock Band kit. Oh, this guy's using a World Tour kit. That's funny. Back in the day, but yeah, that's all I got to say about World Tour.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much done with the World Tour. That's the other biggest one we're going to talk about. Much like Guitar Hero 3, like it kind of set in stone a lot of things. But the other
Yeah.
things that we didn't mention, it has a dynamic hit window. It has there's no strum limit anymore, like Guitar Hero 3. Stuff like that. The basic stuff. Everything follows this case. But Guitar Metallica is the next game. This is just Guitar Hero World Tour, almost the exact same engine. Apparently, they made the sliders a little bit better. That could be placebo. That could not be. I'm not entirely sure. All I know is that I can FC1 on this engine. I don't think I could on World Tour.
I think at the hit windows still overlap, and it's not as bad as World Tour.
Not
yeah,
as
they
bad
definitely
as
still
World Tour at
overlap.
all.
They're still bad, not as bad.
Yeah, they're just I'd say like 25%, maybe 20% better. It's a
Yeah.
low number.
Yeah,
You
it's marginal.
And yeah, I wanted to touch on the strumming. I did say it when we were talking about World Tours that it eats inputs a lot, and I think Metallica eats the most inputs out of the strumming out of all the games. Just
James
in
is
my
hungry.
experience, wait, what did you say?
James is hungry.
Yeah, he is hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like
You have the fuel.
when I was playing like All
Give me that
Nightmare
which I
Long,
desire. That's notes.
I would consistently find myself like accenting the downstrum, and then I'd find myself like the downbeat would be on the upstrum. When I FC Dyer's Eve, for some reason in solo D, I had to double strum the orange for it to actually register. It was really weird. I don't know why. I've
Skill
never
issue?
experienced it.
You're
until-
talking about the descending trips.
yeah, the sending trips. That's solo D,
With the
right?
sustain at the end,
Yeah,
right?
I think it's OD. Yeah, I
But-
think what's
Yeah,
going on
so-
there, because I did that too when I FC'd it during the gauntlet. I double strummed it just to be safe. I'm pretty sure when you're sliding down, because it goes like orange, blue, yellow, red, and then you have a strummed
Yep.
orange, blue, yellow, and that's descending trips like that. I think the red is just eating the strum. That hopo is just eating that strum somehow, so that the actual strum note isn't being strummed. I think that's what's going on. That's why I
Probably.
did it. I don't know.
Did this game get any title updates? I don't know if it
No.
did. No?
No.
Okay.
There's none on the Unity marketplace
vocals-
for RGH. So
Vocals and drums vastly improved. Now there is actually
Yeah, drums
cool-
are actually fun in this
drums
game.
are actually really
Fun
fun
and
on Metallica. This is probably one of
Yeah.
the first times I was like, damn, fuck Rock Band drums. This shit's awesome.
Double bass.
Yeah, because it had Expert
Yeah,
Plus, and that was the
Expert
first time
Plus.
you got to play everything that's charted in a drum song.
everything that's
Um,
played in a drum song is charted.
Everything that's
rather.
played in a drum song. Yeah. Because like we had shit like Dyer's Eve, we had shit like Blood and Thunder, we had shit like fucking Shortest Straw. We had, there was just a lot of double bass type shit. One on drums was actually a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
But this kind of solidified Guitar Hero into being the better drum game for this time.
Mhm.
And
At
it was
this
not
period.
very short lived, but they did have it. They actually had it for a moment.
Yeah, they knocked it out of the park
now-
with Metallica. Hey, is history repeating itself? Perhaps, maybe, I hope. Anyways,
I hope
Pro drums win. Pro drums win.
Pro Drums win, please. Maybe on the first anniversary of the game. God, I hope so.
that's 6 months away, though.
I know, 6
That's
months
so
away.
far.
But it doesn't even feel like we've been halfway through the year. It still feels like
No.
We are
feels like
recording
Festival
this.
just came out too.
We are recording this
June
episode
9th.
on the 6-month anniversary of Fortnite Festival.
How many months?
So-
6 of them.
Half a year.
I can't take it anymore.
But
Yo.
yeah, I want to say sorry. Fuck, I completely lost what I was gonna say. But
All right, Jason
it
gets
had,
it
to,
now.
it had to do some. It had to do something with the drums because like they changed the accent animation because they added this mechanic to World Tour drums where if it was like a loud like a rim shot hit on like a snare, it would look like a fucking cake. The drum.
It'd be a thicker note. It'd be
It'd be
bigger,
a very thick
thicker.
note. And on World Tour, it had just this kind of a womp animation, but in Metallica, it had this like thrash look
Whoa,
to it.
explosion,
And they
like
kept that for
fiery,
they
flamey
kept
thing.
that for the rest of the series. That goes to show it's like they had a lot of room to improve, and so they did with Guitar Hero Metallica. And in terms of just like a labor of love for a band, Metallica is probably the best band game.
Yes.
for sure.
Easily.
Totally.
Yes.
Aerosmith was a
Easily.
fine band game at the time because we didn't have anything to compare it to. And then Metallica comes out, it's like, oh man, they really liked this game. They wanted this game to be a thing for sure.
Yes.
Speaking about things
Jog
they
memory.
wanted for sure, I remember Andy THPS, shout out. They pushed for Expert Plus on World Tour so hard, and they said no. He wanted it to happen so badly, and they didn't do it. They didn't budge. I guess
Damn.
like it was too late in development times for them to add it. They were
They,
already
they,
probably
they have to go touch up every chart. So
yeah, and they were probably
most
up.
charts.
They were probably up to their fucking nose in bills and costs for everything.
probably
So like.
gotta pay
One
the Michael
cool
Jackson
thing with
estate.
Metallica
Gotta
though
pay
is
Tool.
that if you pre-ordered Guitar Hero
Eagles.
Metallica, they would give you a free foot pedal, which was cool.
Yes.
Yeah. You get a free extra
was
bass
very
pedal
nice
so
of
you
them.
could play double bass because otherwise you'd have to go buy an extra bass kit or a bass pedal
From
which I believe
RedOctane.com.
wasn't even available at the time until Metallica came out. Yeah, I don't think you could buy replacements. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
Oh god, do you remember the little MIDI tuning tool? They literally
on PC?
released. Yeah. They it was literally an internal dev internal like debugging or dev tool.
Yeah,
that
I
they're
do.
just
I
like,
literally I
fuck
had to
it.
buy that. I had to buy a MIDI adapter and use that program because like GameStop, I told my drums wouldn't work and they would not take them back. Like,
Yeah.
which happened
Yeah.
to a lot of people, by the way, because the drums didn't work.
Yep. I mean,
That's-
most of the hardware for this game was returned in one way or another.
Mm,
Yes.
Pain.
Yeah,
Hey,
I think
speaking
that
of
tool just
pain-
changed the sensitivity, by the way.
Speaking of pain, wasn't Smash Hits next after Metallica? Because
Oh,
that's pain to me.
no.
Yeah, okay, so now moving on to Guitar Hero Smash Hits, this didn't do anything. It's the same fucking engine as Metallica, pretty much.
It is.
Except they made sliders worse!
Yes, they did.
They introduced some sort of glitch.
And it's pretty prevalent on Through the Fire and Flames, like within the first minute of the song. You know, it's
Mhm.
like, on a cold winter morning, da, 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 and you play the little
Yep, there's
keys and it
sliders
goes
there.
into the strumming.
and it goes...
Yeah, that first riff in that first verse, it starts with a strum. It's not a strum. It gets turned into a fucking hammer
slider note.
or a slide.
Sometimes,
I don't know.
sometimes
Is it
sometimes it
sometimes?
isn't. It's not consistent for me. Sometimes I have to strum it, sometimes I don't. Romeo
Wow.
Delight is another great example of this, but that's Van Halen. We can talk about that later.
Oh shit, I remember that. I don't know if you told me about it or somebody else did, but yeah, that was definitely something too.
Yeah, sometimes if there's a slider note immediately followed, like pretty quickly after, by a strummed note, that strum note is no longer a strum note; it's a slider. So you can and will overstrum it if you try strumming it. You just
And then
have to, like, get a feel
sometimes
for it
if
and know
there
it's
is
there.
sometimes if there is a hammer on and then a slider note following it, you would have to strum that slider.
It's
Later
just fucked up.
later in Through the Fire and Flames, there's a passage like that. I believe in Herman's solo.
I was thinking at the end of Twin. Like
Oh
when
yeah,
it,
I
when
mean
it
like
goes
at
into
the end
the.
of Twin. At the end
That's
of Twin,
the part that I had to
also
strum
valid,
for
too.
sure.
Yeah, the little red, yellow, red, and then it goes into
Yeah.
the trill after that.
Yeah,
But the one was like it was before the do. It was before that. You know what I'm talking about? I need to find exactly where in the chart it is. It's fine. But like you have to strum that green slider or else it will always miss. Because it goes from a red hopo to
Oh,
a
I know what you're
green
talking about.
slider. Yes.
I know what you're talking
okay.
about. Yes, yeah. I know exactly the section. I did have to strum that on my runs as well. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, this is just Metallica's engine, but worse. And that's pretty much all there needs to be said about Smash Hits. That's all
And
there is. This
I
game didn't
don't
have
know
to
if we
exist.
touched. I don't think we touched on it with World Tour. I believe that the Wii and PS2 sliders are better. They function better than PS3 and Xbox. They just do.
I have heard that. I think Chance of One has said that to me because
They
he's
just
currently
do.
playing through he's playing through Van Halen. He just FC'd I'm the
Yeah.
One on PS2, Van Halen,
Insane.
and then he's going for Spanish Fly right now. He says it's easier. He
Smash-
FC'd Eruption. He
I
says
believe
it's
it.
easier on PS2 for sliders specifically.
Bro got the second ever FC of I'm the One on PS2. That's so funny.
I'm surprised it's the second.
I'm surprised at the second. Yeah.
I'm
I'm
surprised,
surprised there was
somebody's
even
done
one
it
to
before.
begin with.
Yeah, but
But-
yeah, I don't have enough playtime on PS2 or Wii on these games. The
I
later
played
games
the
past
Wii
Guitar Hero
games
3,
a
so
lot,
I can't
and I can
speak on it.
very honestly say that they are much better on Wii and PS2.
They are. Yeah. Like
'cause
I
this shit
I
just
started
works.
on Wii.
It truly
Yeah.
just works, and like the some of the faults are still there. Like they are worse in World Tour, but they get better as time goes on. But I think like Fingerquick didn't FC full game FC Smash Hits on Wii for nothing. He just wanted there to be
Dude.
less stress. Kyle Walpe, fucking
Yeah.
FC'd it all on PS2.
Full
because it
full
was
series
easier.
FC. I'm pretty
Full
sure
series
mostly
FC
on
on Wii and
He FC'd
PS2.
fucking Chemical Warfare on Wii.
on Wii. Yeah,
I think that was
'cause it
not
just
even the
better.
last one he needed. I think.
The guitars
And-
are
oh,
better too.
Another thing too is that Slashno, Daisied, he's getting all the vocals FCs on PS2 because the engine doesn't suck.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently it's super
Somehow.
fucking easy. Not easy. It's less hard.
Not easy.
on
It's
PS2.
like you could just play like a Rock Band 3 vocal chart. You just got to be.
Yeah,
pitch,
it's
you
it's
gotta
more
have
lenient
pitch.
in some ways. I don't know enough. I couldn't speak on it. Like we said before, this is guitar engine based. We'll talk about other shit when we can. But yeah, apparently PS2 vocals are easier for all the games. Like, period. Even though the
Moving
games look
on.
like dog shit, I guess they play
Moving
better.
on, we got. Should we throw Van Halen because that's also the same engine, World Tour engine?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go out of
Let's
order.
move down to Van Halen and talk. Oh wait,
Yeah,
we don't even
so-
do we have a Van Halen side? We do. It's
We
below
do.
Band Hero.
Yeah. So
So-
because I put them in the order of release. So the game released World Tour, Metallica, Smash Hits, Guitar Hero 5 came out, and then Band Hero came out. But then the official release date of Van Halen was like close to Christmas. So it was actually
December
like 2 games
2009.
after. It was actually 2 games after Guitar Hero 5. However, if you bought Guitar Hero 5, you could send in a little thing. I actually have it on that over there, that little red sticker. It says if with this purchase, you can go get unreleased Guitar Hero Van Halen game for free if you send this in by this date or whatever.
Also, they're
giving
copies of the Activision would sponsor Van Halen cover band concerts and give away this game for free.
They were just shoveling the shit out the door.
Yeah, there's a Facebook post about that.
I remember seeing that.
That's crazy.
I think it was from a Van Halen cover band. It was like, shout out to Activision for letting us give out free copies of Guitar Hero Van Halen at our concert or something like that. And I was like,
yeah,
damn, they were. Really
I remember
in the
seeing
trenches.
that too.
That's insane.
It does feel like Van Halen. Van Halen as a whole is the weirdest band game, in my opinion.
Yes,
for sure.
Because like, okay, hold on. How the hell did we go from Aerosmith having how much money they made from it, Metallica having so much passion, to Van Halen literally being thrown out like coasters?
Shovelware.
So
actual
this game,
shovelware.
There was some concept art in some artist portfolio that had early versions of the menus for Guitar Hero Van Halen, and it was originally called Guitar Hero Stadium Rock, featuring or starring Van Halen. So, and if you think about it, if you watch like the intro to Guitar Hero Van Halen, where it's like Eddie Van Halen playing Eruption, they're showing all the band members off. It's like,
a great
that's
intro.
really cool. And that also kind of makes up for the fact that there's no like behind the scenes, or Steven Tyler's not talking about No Bog High School. He's not, we don't have those fucking moments, but instead it's just kind of back to our roots of like, here's some rock stars on stage, and here's some banging music for it too. And the song selection for the game comes directly from Eddie Van Halen's son's iPod. This is the first time we saw fucking Alter Bridge in Guitar Hero. Was Guitar Hero
Alter
Van
Bridge, like Queens of the Stone Age, Tenacious D,
Stacy's mom.
Killswitch Engage, Stacy's fucking mom, the Pretty Fly for a White Guy. Like, it's a very not
eclectic.
Van Halen. Eclectic is a great word.
Dude,
very
there's
eclectic
Queen in
selection
this game
of
too.
songs. Yeah, Queen.
There's Queen.
Fucking
That
Painkiller
Queens of the
half
Stone Age song
drum intro.
features Julian Casablancas from The Strokes in it.
666 has Julian.
Yeah, he's in that song. He's in that song, like towards the end.
Where?
I wanna change.
That's Julian Casablancas.
That's him. That's him. Deadass.
I didn't know that was him.
That's him.
That's
No
another
clue.
fun
You hear
fact,
it and you're like,
fun
oh shit,
facts.
that's him.
I just assumed that was all just Josh Homme.
Yeah.
Yo, I
Anyway.
didn't know that Van Halen, sorry to skip ahead on this slide
No
here,
worries.
but
Good.
this game actually had a larger back end? It was thick.
It did. Yes, it was a thick
engine
boy.
is weird.
This
This
is a very big
game.
back
this-
end.
Next
this
to
game
Guitar
was
Hero
not-
1, weird engine.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry. To the people who are going like, stop talking over each other. We're just so excited to talk about this because there's so much to talk about. So I apologize if we're like just kind of in your brain about
We're
this.
just
Just
yapping.
know we're very excited to share all this information with you. This game was developed by a company called Underground Development, and what these guys developed right before Van Halen after Van Halen was a canceled Call of Duty Wii DLC. And then before this, they were known as a little company called Z-Axis.
What?
Do you guys know who Z-Axis is?
What?
No.
They made the fucking...
They made Dave Mirra.
Dave Mirra games,
they
yeah.
made
The
Dave
PS1 Dave
Mirra
Mirra Freestyle
BMX.
BMX, and also Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX Maximum
They
Remix,
also
and
made
Dave Mirra
the
Freestyle
adult
BMX 2 on the
BMX game
PS2.
BMX XXX.
Ah,
This was Z-Axis.
really?
Underground Development
I
was Z-Axis.
didn't know
Look it up.
this.
No,
Goes
dead
back
ass.
to-
Look it
I
up.
didn't
Bro, it
Underground
all goes
Development.
back to skateboarding and BMX.
Yes.
We got a different skateboarding company to build a different Guitar Hero game. We have Neversoft and a different skateboard game maker.
Oh, they made fucking Thrasher Skate and Destroy. I love that game.
Holy shit! Yeah, it really does just say Underground
Oh my
Development.
god, Thrasher
formerly
Skate and
Z-Axis.
Destroy is crazy.
Fuck, bro.
Insane.
Bow down to the Thrasher.
What
It
a
makes you
fucking
wonder
And
how
list
Aggressive
of
Inline
games.
for the GameCube.
How
and
the
PS2.
hell did they get contracted to make this game?
That was the last thing they did.
It was it was straight up just a canceled Call of Duty game for the 360.
Call of Duty Devil's Brigade.
The Italian campaign.
I've never
that's what it
heard of
says.
Devil's Brigade.
Yeah.
What
So
the
that's where
fuck?
that's where they were shoved after Guitar Hero Van Halen.
It was a World War II game.
And so like it begs the question, it's like what tools were they fucking given for this game? Like were they just like left with I know that
Hold on. This
in
was
an
their
inter-
last game. They went defunct February 12th, 2010. Van Halen officially came out like a couple months prior to this. Like Van Halen was that was the end. They canceled their Call of Duty shit. It was like, you're gone, you're dissolved.
I was gonna say that
So-
they worked. I remember in a interview with Wolfgang Van Halen that they worked very, very closely with him so that he can be like, okay, these charts are accurate and they're good. That's why the pick slides in this game aren't like, they don't go all the way down the fretboard. It's instead like 1 or 2 notes, you know? But it's very
Unopened.
weird.
Oh, there it is.
Nice.
There it is.
I think what
got
Wolfgang
those
probably
bitches up there,
wanted was
too.
like, oh yeah, there's slider notes. So like you could just go like this from red to green. Or like, sorry,
That's the
from
promo
blue
copy
to green,
Jason
right?
has there. This is the retail copy.
So if you have
Yes.
the promo, this is what you got for free with Guitar Hero 5. And at the bottom it
2
says,
games.
not for resale, for promotion only.
Yep.
So the thing with like Wolfgang like vetting the charts, right? Like, I think like I hear that, and then I think about the Painkiller solo because like
That shit sucked.
You see, I don't know
Dude.
I don't know if he did. I don't know if he
he
did.
might have just done the
Get
Van Halen stuff.
That. He may have
yeah.
just done the Van Halen tracks, but I'll have to look
But
up
yeah,
that interview
it's
again.
worth pointing out that in Smash Hits and Van Halen, the chart quality was ass. It's not
Yeah.
good.
Well, Van Halen was better than Smash Hits, I would say, in terms
Yeah,
of just
I
regular
mean,
charting. But Smash Hits is like
I think
universally known
that
as
the
shitty
Van
charts.
Halen charts are good, but then a lot of the other artists, I think that they just didn't care as much. Honestly, like Painkiller is like a standout example. Like, the intro is completely fucking missing. The drum intro.
I
is
will
missing.
say
Like-
one thing that's completely not unrelated, but somehow Van Halen got one thing right, and it's the chart for "And the Cradle Will Rock." Somehow Rock Band 4, they fumbled the shit out of that and alt charted a piano the entire way through "The Cradle Will Rock" by Van Halen.
That blows.
Man.
It's really, you know how in "The Cradle Will Rock" it's like that.
Yeah, like kind of triplets.
You just hear that in the headphones when you play it on Rock Band 4, and you're just playing the piano in the back.
lame,
It's really bad.
boring.
It's really bad. But
That was-
yeah,
that
Van
was,
Halen has a static hit window, probably for the fact that there's a lot of fast strumming.
Hold on, before we
in
get into
these
that,
songs?
the game looks like every other game prior to this. That's why I'm putting it here. Like, it looks like it's on the same, based on the same engine as World Tour, Metallica, Smash Hits. However, it came out after Guitar Hero 5, which was a completely different engine, mind
And
you.
it
So
uses the new logo.
It does. It uses the new logo that kind of indicates new engine, but it's on the old engine because it's
But
just
it's
an
not
old game.
good.
So we've been playing Guitar Hero 5 for a couple months, getting used to that, how that works, and now we're like, oh man, it looks like the old
Yeah, go
games.
back.
This kind of blows.
Yeah.
This sucks.
I
But-
dare say,
But a
this
demo
game.
came. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Again, we're talking
good.
over each other a lot.
We're so excited.
Hyper-
I have another
hyper.
tidbit.
Four dudes, a lot of them with ADHD, just spouting off about their passion.
Undiagnosed.
Undiagnosed.
Diagnosed.
My
here.
daughter's autistic. Hey, yo, it probably have it. You know what I mean?
Undiagnosed,
Hey.
all these things, but
Easy.
probably.
Easy.
I feel like this is the game that started really diluting. Like,
This was like,
In my
this was so
opinion.
emblematic of that. Yeah.
oh yeah, totally.
yes, because like we were saying, the other game having the newer engine, this looking a little older, feeling a little jankier, really confusing for players. It's like, where are you hopping in? You don't exactly know what you're getting when you pop a Guitar Hero game in anymore. You know, like in my opinion.
I mean, it feels like this game, they just couldn't find a release window for it because they already had too many other games coming out. You had Metallica like in March. You had
mean,
Smash
faucet
Hits
was
in
turned
June.
on.
And then Guitar Hero 5 September. That's when it really started popping the fuck off because you had Guitar Hero 5, you had Band Hero, you had Van Halen, you had DJ Hero, all within like the same 3-month period. That's
So
fucked
bad,
up.
dude.
4
Let's be
games.
honest. Let's be
And
honest,
at the
man.
same time, it's all still supporting PlayStation 2.
It is,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Dude,
Oh.
DJ
Dude.
Hero having a PlayStation 2 port is still the craziest thing ever. I can't believe that they have a DJ Hero port on PS2.
I didn't even know there was controllers for PS2 for DJ
Yeah.
Hero.
Yeah,
Wow.
Nuts.
What are you
dude.
saying, JP?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, JP, what were you going to say?
let's be honest here. Like, people only wanted this game for like a handful of songs.
Eruption.
That's all they cared about. Eruption, Spanish Fly,
They gave it away
I'm
for
the
free.
One, Hot for Teacher was included again, and the chart is, in my opinion, worse than the World Tour
Oh,
one.
Yeah,
wait.
it's
You
easier.
say give it away all for free? Bro, what about the demo on the marketplace?
The demo
that
had Eruption.
They gave away the
that
best
had
chart for
Eruption?
free.
Yeah.
They
Eruption
gave-
was on the
Actually,
demo.
for free. They had
Yeah.
Eruption.
It's
in the-
bizarre.
I remember when Strike Buller had all of his fucking videos online. That's how he FC'd Eruption on the demo.
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 I don't want to buy this fucking game.
He was like,
Play the
I'm not
demo and play
buying
the
this
hard
game,
song.
but they have Eruption, so I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, that's cool, I guess, but
Sure.
I don't know.
That's like if they had a GH3 demo that had Through the Fire and Flames on it.
Or
Yeah.
one.
Like, why would you buy the game?
Well,
Yeah,
but
like,
you know, the
have
thing
cool
is,
songs
Eruption
in
is
there.
extremely short. I know it's like
It
Van
is.
Halen's like very like most popular song ever.
Popularized
It's like
guitar tapping.
One of the most recognized. Yeah.
Yeah.
one of the most
recognizable
iconic guitar songs.
He pioneered a lot.
Oh
of
yeah.
that.
By the way, they did not announce a Guitar Hero at the Xbox Game Showcase. Bitches.
Damn it! We're doing this
They're
while
doing
the
the
Game
Black
Showcase
Ops
was left.
6 showcase right
I
now.
had the whole
X'd
thing
out.
going on. They just showed off a bunch
I
of
did
fucking
too.
Call of Duty. And,
Damn it!
You know what everybody was saying in the chat on YouTube? They were just saying woke, woke, woke.
Ugh.
Can't even play my Call of Duty games anymore because of woke. Even though aren't they going to show like aren't they going to show the towers falling in this game or something like that? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, no.
shit! Hey, they do that shit, bro. Game Pass day one.
Yeah,
Let's go.
free kind of for $15.99.
Did you want to talk about this engine, Jake? I mean, like,
Yeah. So we're getting back to this shit. This is a weird ass engine. I think it is the most unique engine in the entire series, maybe even surpassing Guitar Hero 1, because this has a static hit window. It is the only Guitar Hero game that has a static hit window. Everything else is dynamic. We're not going to talk about the G3 prototype that had static because they fixed it for release. This game has early whammy, like the old Harmonix games. This is the only Neversoft era game that has early whammy.
I did not know that.
It's
Yeah.
fucked up. It's
Wow.
fucked
fucked
up.
up, dude. It's fucked up.
It's fucked up. It has fixed endpoint sustains, like we talked about with Guitar Hero 1, 2, 80s. So the sustains work in a very similar way to that. There's no tick bursts. Has the same GH smash hits slider issue. So like Romeo Delight is the big one. So like if you're doing a slider section that's immediately followed by a strum, that strum just becomes a slider. And it has a large hit window. So you have 100 milliseconds front end, and you have 125 milliseconds back end. So you have a lot of time, 225 milliseconds to hit a note.
That's nuts.
That's a lot of time.
A lot of
That's a
fucking
lot of time.
And
like,
you can
this is a
feel that
one-off
time
game,
too,
dude.
especially with the static hit window when you're doing strumming stuff. Like I'm the one of the hardest songs in the entire series, perhaps the hardest song. It would be way harder on World Tour, like what you're doing right now at 125% speed, Alec.
Oh yeah.
You are nerfing yourself into the ground by playing it on World Tour instead of
Well,
somehow
no.
playing it
I
on
talked to
this
the
game.
World Tour Definitive Edition guys, and they said that the fixed engine, they are trying to make it Van Halen.
Ooh, they
And,
could add
and so
static.
right now, as it stands, it's a static hit window, but they're trying to make it more like Van Halen. Period.
Ooh, I didn't know
So
that.
like,
Ooh.
I'm down with
I
that.
haven't been up to
I'm
date.
fucking down. I think this is like the best engine without it being whale pussy like Guitar Hero 3 Clone Hero.
Yeah,
More
I mean,
casual.
this does have static hit window. Therefore, it is easier to hit notes. Kind of, you have to be less accurate. It doesn't necessarily feel like it's like whale pussy, like you said. It feels like you still have to be, on the beat.
Yeah, like like static hit window.
It doesn't
Fortnite Festival-
feel like whale pussy.
I didn't.
No, it
I didn't
doesn't.
realize what I was saying there. I didn't realize what I was saying there. I don't know how.
You
that
got some
feels.
explaining to do, Jake.
I don't know how that feels. I live in Minnesota.
Yeah, you
There's
do.
no whales near me,
Yeah, you do.
Sure. Have you checked?
unless you're talking about your mom. Oh, got him. Anyways, yeah, that's the weird shit about Guitar Hero Van Halen. It's just a weird ass game. It's a very unique entry with the Neversoft era stuff because it brings back a lot of like what you would have seen in Harmonix era stuff, like with the early whammy and the sustains and shit. It's got a bigger hit window. It's got static hit window. It's bizarre. It says hardest vocals engine on 360/PS3 Next World Tour.
It's I wouldn't say okay. So I put that down, and I'd say it's on par with World Tour difficulty because when Guitar Hero Metallica came out and they fixed the vocals engine, they would start actually giving you ratings instead of flashes of colors. It would go like average, solid, excellent. I think that's all it was. I think it was like bad, average, solid, and excellent. And I think
I don't know. Probably
excellent
that's
was
gonna-
green, solid was yellow, average was white, and then bad was red. That's what it was. I'm 100%, not 100% sure, but it's very close to that. On Van Halen, they're pretty particular with that. I've been trying to FC Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind on here on vocals for years. There's always some bullshit that happens. If you're off by like a little bit, game just says fuck you. Fuck you. Here's a solid. There you go. But that also doesn't help when you have songs like Ice Cream Man, where it sounds like David Lee Roth is just talking. All of that is charted as pitch.
Yeah.
All of that.
Dedicate one to the ladies.
Yeah. It's real. Well, I mean, like, some of that stuff is talkies, but then, I'll ask you, man, don't pass it by. Like, that's all pitched. It's really bad. I urge you to look at the
I've
video
heard
of
that's
it.
the hardest song.
It's really
vocals.
it's
One of
fucked
the
up.
hardest songs.
One of the hardest, for sure. And it might be a hardest in the game. Ice Cream Man. But
yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty much it for Van
that's pretty
Halen.
much it
It
for Van
looks
Halen.
it looks like World Tour. Doesn't feel like World Tour. It's a very different, very unique game, and it has some of the hardest songs in there. I'm the one of the hardest songs in the series. But if it
I'm
was in
still
any
thinking-
game but this, it would be even harder.
Wow.
I think the static hit window was just because of all the fast strumming. They were probably like, dude,
It could be.
we can't even have like the best player come in and like maybe hit this section. We need to
Ain't
just
no way it was a mistake. They didn't mistakenly add a static hit window after
Yeah,
every other
no,
game
it
prior has
had to
been
have been-
dynamic.
They probably talked to Wolfgang Van Halen. And they're like, we changed the hit window a little bit. What do you think? And he was like, perfect. This is great.
Feels good to me.
Feels good.
Sounds
to me.
good, bro. Like,
Well, I
that's
don't
it.
know. I wasn't
let's
there.
move
I'm
on
not
to
Wolfgang. I'm
no,
not
not
underground.
Wolfgang.
I'm not Z-axis, bro.
4 games
uh,
left.
let's just go ask Mammoth the WVH himself on Twitter.com. Axe.com.
Only 4 left. We got GH5
Yep.
up next.
Yep, this probably won't be super long, but this is the next main entry in the series. Guitar Hero World Tour was a main entry. Everything else that we just talked about was, side stuff. So Guitar Hero 5 is, again, a brand new engine. It looks and feels different. This is the best looking engine. This and, Band Hero and Warriors
Still
of Rock
Tony
are
Hawk.
built off of it. Still Tony Hawk, just slightly modified, has better graphics. They changed the way the highway looks. The flames look different. That's the
Yeah,
big
they
thing
changed
that I
that shit.
see. The flames have always kind of gone up a little bit, but these just kind of and they have a flat top kind of. They don't really go up the highway very much. They stay kind of low. So they have
It's
better
I mean like
visibility.
it's what Clone Hero Flames look like. So
Yeah, it's
That's
Clone
where-
Hero
that's where
Flames.
they get
Clone
it
Hero
from.
was based on
and
this.
the whole layout is where Clone Hero gets it from.
Yep. Well, they
So-
technically get it from Warriors of Rock, but which is just Guitar Hero 5, just slightly modified. Yeah, this
so-
engine's weird as fuck too. Just the way it feels when you play it. I'll explain this first, even though it's further down in the slide, because this was this was a eye-opening moment when I was playing this on stream during the Gauntlet stuff, and I was explaining why it looks and feels different from other games. The notes when you hit the note, the note itself doesn't disappear immediately after you hit it. It gets stuck to the highway. So the highway always is constantly scrolling, but when you hit a note before the hit window, it doesn't just disappear. It doesn't teleport to the hit window. It doesn't stay. It stays locked in at that one part of the highway. So the highway itself is moving,
GH5.
but the note itself is staying where it is. Yeah, we're on GH5. So it looks bizarre. You don't really notice it. You don't exactly know what's happening. You just know something is off. But if you slow down the gameplay and go
This-
frame by frame, it's that note hasn't moved in 4 frames. It's just still there. What's going on?
Yeah, this happens. I believe this is also in Band Hero.
Yes, Band Hero and
Guitar Hero 5
GH5 are
and
the
Band
exact same
Hero do
engine.
this. They fixed it in Warriors of Rock.
Yes.
But
Yes, but
yeah,
that's why it
it's-
looks weird.
It's a very odd game to play if, and like I said, like one of the bullet points said, I typed in that it was 50-50. People either love this engine or hate this engine. I don't think there's people that are like, I don't mind the Guitar Hero 5 engine. No, just say you hate it.
I'm personally a hater.
Yeah, that's fine. I get it.
I thought that this engine was better than I thought it was better, and then I played this game again, and I was like, wait, this engine's actually terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, not a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
Hopo
Like,
chords
War
for
was
the
an
first
improvement.
time in this one.
Yes.
We got
Yep, they added
Yes.
Hope chords, and they don't feel that good. Sometimes they
Nope.
work, sometimes they don't.
mm-hmm.
Which
Specifically-
brings
Yes,
me
the
to
general
today.
aesthetic of the
Specifically-
game,
For the festival.
the game looked really good.
Yes.
Specifically, the
Yeah.
yellow-orange hammer-on chord in Scatterbrain in the intro.
fuck
you
that!
Need,
Oh my
you
god,
need
yeah.
to strum it. Or
Or
else
just
it
I
will-
go slow. I go it's did it. It's but I do instead of did it.
Dude, this is the only game that okay, so when we're playing competitively, like WCG, I went all in
Sure.
on Guitar Hero 5. And so, I had to force myself to love this engine. And I learned all the quirks, learned all that shit. I could FC Scatterbrain on command. Needless to say, I was a lover of this engine for a very long time. Then it just turned out that you need to just play extremely early, almost all the time. On soloing and just anything in general, you need to just hit early.
So one thing that shout outs to Drew, that Drew told me about Warriors of Rock and the Plaza GH5, he said it the way that he plays it is that he keeps his eyes' attention towards the multiplier, so he hits as early as possible. And that's how he FC'd a bunch of shit
Interesting.
recently on Warriors of Rock. And I tried it, and he's not lying. It just it forces you to if you don't look at the strike line, like you're looking straight ahead, but you have it in your peripheral vision, and you hit as early as possible, the game just works better.
Weird. I don't think I've ever
Weird.
looked over there when I'm playing.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play
Um,
Guitar Hero 5 in 2000.
Yeah, fuck that.
Bro.
No, I'm not
I'm not doing that shit.
Bro, Alec won a freaking world championship on this game. Like, he wants to go back to it. That's a long time
Yeah.
ago, dude.
It's over,
Fuck,
man.
dude.
You don't.
You've already proven
I-
yourself in this
sometimes-
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But like competitively, song selection choice, we all feel the same way. It's a Spotify playlist.
Yep.
Yep.
It's
It
not.
is.
It's
There's some
not.
bangers.
There's not. How was it? Not 93. That's Words of Rock. 85 songs by 83
85
artists. It says right there.
Yeah, just read, bro.
There was one
Yeah, bro.
thing in this game, and it's not even really an engine thing, but there is something that was really nice about it that I think is worth mentioning. They added that party play where you could just
That was
hop
awesome.
in.
Yeah.
You could just
Yeah.
hop in and play. That was
Grab a
They made
great.
controller.
multiplayer.
Oh, and this is
They
the
made
first time you
multiplayer
could play
really
with
good.
4 guitars.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So
You
for
and your
anybody who
boys
doesn't
could
know what
just
this is, you could just literally let the game go with select songs, and you could hop in, hop out. So if you were at, like, let's say, a gathering with people, and you doesn't just have Guitar Hero on the TV, someone could literally pick up the guitar, hop in on whatever difficulty, play however long they wanted, and then just hop out, and it wouldn't stop the game, which is
Yeah,
really
like
cool.
mid-song, you could hop
That's-
in and out mid-song.
And they had
Yeah.
like an attract mode too, right?
That's
you could just
dude.
hop
That's
in.
how these new Guitar Hero games started out. You loaded it up, and it would boot you into party play mode. First
Yes.
time you loaded up the game, no intro.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there would be an intro, but it wouldn't be a lot unless it was Warriors of Rock. But Guitar Hero 5 and Band Hero were just like, oh, okay, here's Guitar Hero 5, whatever, and then it
Play.
kicks you into party play.
I saw somebody say, I don't know if this was like in my comments or if it was on a Twitch stream. Somebody was like, so can I like choose the songs I want to play, or is it just give you the songs? Talking about Guitar Hero 5 when they first played it. Like, they didn't know that there was more to
Oh,
the
they
game than
didn't
just
know.
party play.
Oh,
They
wow.
thought that's all it was.
In a way, it's
Oh.
almost, this is a
Rest
weird
in
way to
peace.
put it, but for anybody who played GHTV, it's almost like a really, really early prototype of GHTV from Guitar Hero Live.
Yeah,
way to put
it
it.
is. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Just hop in, baby.
I think they're
Yeah, I mean,
they're
that same
fucking
ethos
ahead
carried.
of the curve with that one, man. I think Festival should
It was a
have
good
that.
idea. It was a good
Ooh,
idea.
that'd be cool.
Mm.
Festival
Ooh,
should
can you
have a
imagine if
stri-
they had like
Festival
the
should
featured
have
songs.
like a little party play like lobby where it's just the rotating tracks for the week, and it's just
Yeah.
consistently playing. And you could jump in and out.
I like
You
that
can
idea.
invite your
That'd be
friends,
cool.
and then maybe
Yeah.
increase the lobby size to like fucking 20, 30 people, maybe. And you just be like,
Neat.
all right, let's go play and get some scores a little bit on the rotating songs for today. Fuck it.
Notes epic.
Epic Games, think about that.
Hey,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
And like if people own songs, like what if they could like vote on it? Anyway, yeah.
Back to Guitar Hero 5.
Back to
Um,
Guitar Hero 5.
Not a whole lot else to cover, but the thing that I hate the most about this engine, because I like going for score, it's really hard to hold out sustains fully and not like accidentally drop the very end of it. Because most of these games have sustains that are just like they butt up against each other. There's no gap between the sustains. Like Guitar Hero 3 had sustain gap, so it was really easy to not drop sustains. Most every other game just has no sustain gap, so they're right next to each other. You have to be hyper accurate, like frame perfect. If like, for example, the one that I think of the most is Sweating Bullets. The intro to that is all
Oh.
long sustains.
yeah.
Hello,
It's
me.
damn near impossible to hit every single tick from that. You will drop points. It is almost an inevitability.
You know, out of all Megadeth songs too, like it's not a bad song.
Hello,
It's
me.
just- It's a bad
Guitar
Guitar
Hero.
Hero song. Like
My misfits
they-
way of life.
they
Oh,
they
good,
made
yeah.
up for it. They made up for it later. They made up for it big time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything to mention about Guitar Hero 5?
Not
Fuck
really.
this game. Move on.
They made the drum engine slightly better, but also worse for Rock Band drums. They broke the Rock Band drum engine, but the regular Guitar Hero 5, like the regular Guitar Hero engine was, or Guitar Hero drum engine was better.
Oh yeah.
As far as I'm
I
aware.
remember a
know
video
that.
that I saw where someone was playing on Wii Guitar Hero 5 with a Rock Band kit, and the intro of Scatterbrain, they were just spamming yellow and keeping combo.
Jake.
Yeah.
I
I
wonder why
think
they broke
that I'm not okay. I can't remember how many are longer, but this game did also feature one of the longest songs in Guitar Hero's official set list. I know that we
Yes,
had Rush
sir.
in Warriors of Rock, but I do think
I
it's
feel like
worth
we do.
mentioning with how shitty this engine played at points that there was a near 15-minute song on game.
Yeah. Painful.
Great.
Bob Mayo on keys.
Do
Bob
you
Mayo.
feel like you do? Or
Bob
we do.
Mayo.
I feel like we do.
Yeah.
Bob Mayo!
Do,
Bob
Peter
Mayo.
Frampton. Peter Frampton on GH5 with
Legendary
Do You
track,
Feel Like
though.
We Do.
Great
Oh,
track.
great tune, sure.
Great.
But
Fun to
playing
play
it
casually.
sucks.
Mm-mm.
Is it fun to play casually?
I love that song.
Yeah, I mean,
So
but,
I'll
but
play.
then,
I'll
but
play
then
that
it's
shit
like, dude.
casually.
But then you get to the end and you get to the like the fucking broken up zigs.
Yeah.
and it's so chokeable. So chokeable.
Very.
Like
I choked it.
I can hear that part in my head right now.
Oh yeah, the
Me
Yes.
I
Like it's
missed that
all
so many
towards like
times.
what the last like 3 minutes of the song or whatever. I
Yeah.
think the worst parts.
Bro
You
was
gotta
coked
wait.
out so hard that year, probably.
Dude, my dad used to tell me that that was the song that like DJs would play at parties when they had to go take a shit.
Yeah, that's a
They
W.
just put that on, let the song play. You got a 15-minute break in the middle of your set.
Woke up this
Come back.
morning. Something today.
Yeah, close enough.
When? Who's one?
There's nothing else that needs to be added. Yeah, Band Hero. It's just Guitar Hero 5.
Hero.
This is
but
this is a
Taylor
fast
Swift.
one.
Guitar Hero 5,
Taylor
but the drum
Swift.
issue that I mentioned about Rock Band drums being weird is fixed, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kind of, not perfectly, but it's better. I remember iHomer X360A did a Laser Cannon Death
Laser
Sentence
Cannon
FC
Death Sentence.
in practice
my
mode
God.
on Band Hero. Because
Yeah.
apparently the engine was better
The MIDI
in
Pro
practice mode Band
adapter
Hero.
would just not work well with 4-lane. And none of the games. MIDI Pro adapter was just a nightmare. So thankfully we have motherfucking Roll Limitlesses now. So
Yeah, Book Reader 52.
Shout out
Shout
Book
out
Reader.
to you.
That's the book
Legend.
reader.
But that's literally that's all we need
Is
to talk
that
about
it?
with Band Hero.
That's
it's,
it?
It's the
That's
same
Band Hero?
fucking thing as Guitar Hero 5. That's all it is. It's
It's
Guitar Hero 5.
literally
It
the
came
same.
out
They
2
fixed
months
drums.
later. It's the same
With Taylor
shit.
Swift.
I'd say,
And-
okay, I want
and
to touch
Adam
briefly.
Levine.
Head tape
I want to
no
touch briefly
doubt.
on vocals. The vocals are a lot better in Guitar Hero 5, Band Hero, and Warriors of Rock. I think I don't know the logistics. I don't know the very tiny tidbits about it, but some people were telling me that like Warriors of Rock is harder on vocals or Band Hero is harder on vocals. I don't know. It functions better than any of the World Tour games. That's all I got. I really got to say about vocals. Like if I could have see Under Pressure by Queen on Guitar Hero 5 years, like almost 20 years, or I guess like 12 years later, I ain't worried about it.
Good enough.
Good enough.
All right. Guitar Hero
Warriors
Warriors
of
of Rock.
It's time
Some
for the
might
ultimate
say
send-off.
the best Guitar Hero game. Not the best Guitar Hero engine
Yes.
by far. It's got many quirks and features that are not good.
But this game is fan service central.
It is.
Yes,
like-
this feels like their
They
swan song.
went to Score Hero and asked people what songs they wanted to see in the game.
And they answered.
so
And
it
many
was
of them
Fury
were
of
in
the
there.
Storm, Black Widow of Laporte,
Or
Dance
Megadeth
Dance
in
by
general.
Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, I mean, Black Widow and Fear of the Storm were two
Spider-Man-
famous
Spider-Man
custom
theme
songs.
song?
Spider-Man theme song by the Ramones.
Spider
Yes,
Pig.
somehow.
Weird pick.
2112.
Weird pick.
Yeah,
The
all
entirety of
2012.
2112. That's the
12.
closest we got to Guitar Hero Rush, right there.
Yeah.
Because they actually
yeah.
had.
Yeah, narrated by Geddy Lee. Everybody from Rush, Alex and
Everybody from Rush.
Neil. Yeah,
You had your
That's impressive.
That
RPG
shit is so
story
cool.
mode where you got new powers,
yeah,
Yep.
which was narrated by Gene Simmons.
which was
Yes.
cool as hell. This
they went
game
all
was
out with the
fan
script.
service.
I'm gonna ride you like a pony. Love that one.
Yeah, but Guitar Hero kept getting sued over their inclusions of real life characters like Kurt Cobain, no doubt, etc. People in their games. So they didn't include like 3D models of people in this game at all. It was all fully, original content. However, they involved people with voiceovers, with custom songs. Like with Megadeth, he made Sudden Death for this game, and they had a whole bunch of other Megadeth songs. So like
Yeah, a
they
lot of
still
people don't
included
know
real life
that, actually.
artists, just not like in the digital sense.
And then
didn't
they
make
had
a
the
character
Lich
of him.
King from World of Warcraft to be a secret character. In the
Yeah.
Arthas,
That
yeah.
World of Warcraft thing. But it looks like the GH5 engine. It kind of feels like the GH5 engine.
It
The
ain't.
visuals are the same, but it's better. It's better than GH5 engine, I think. Even though it's weird, you have to get used to it. This is a weird game because I feel like if you haven't touched it in a while, there will be an adjustment period if you go back to it. Like it'll take you an hour or two of playing the game to be like,
this
okay,
game
I
is
feel
hard.
comfortable now. This
This
game is
game is
hard.
This game is really hard.
It's fucking
It
hard.
is.
Probably
It's a hard
Not
game.
even just the
one of
charts.
arguably the
The
hardest
engine.
in the series.
Yeah, like overall, this is probably the hardest overall full game FC you can get because it's 93 songs and many of them are
Yeah,
hard. This
and,
was
like-
made to be a hard game.
Yes.
Like
Dude,
the songs are no fucking joke, man. Like,
Dude,
Chemical
I
Warfare
almost
is
have,
an
like, a
awful
theory.
FC.
You know, like how we've been talking about the Coyote timing and stuff with Fortnite Festival?
Mhm.
It's like this game did not have a whole lot of strum fret leniency, Warriors of Rock. It kind of didn't, because it like
Strumming is weird in this
artificially,
game in general.
artificially, it did not really have much strum fret leniency because you are kind of forced to strum everything early if it's fast. You know what I mean?
I
Like
see
with
what you
Black
mean.
Widow and like
Yeah.
Sudden Death, you have to hit things very early.
Yeah, like the dreaded verse 2 of Sudden Death, where it goes
Verse 2 Sudden Death or
single
after the
yellow,
strumming.
blue hopo, and
Dude,
then yellow blue chords. That
I
fucking
hate
sucks.
that
One of the
shit.
hardest
I
in
hate
the
that
series.
shit. Yeah,
It's actually so terrible, dude.
like the worst section of the song.
Yep.
Yeah,
But,
like hardest section of the song
kinda
for
like-
sure. Like it's
It's
random.
kind
Not
of
even
like
that
that.
fast.
It almost feels like that. You missed some bullshit, but then it wasn't. It doesn't feel as catastrophic when you miss compared to Festival, because like you're playing easy shit on Festival most of the time, unless we're talking
Yeah,
this
but
past
this is
week.
hard shit. Yeah,
Master
I
of
was
Puppets.
talking last week. Like I said on Twitter, man. Anyone
the
Fing
strings.
Master of Puppets on Pro Lead, you're gonna have that flex forever.
Congratulations.
When they fix that engine, I mean, not to say that credibility is gonna go down. It's just now the FCs are
It
gonna
ain't the
go
same.
up because
It's
the
a
game's gonna
different
feel better.
accomplishment.
Nah.
The game's gonna just feel better. It's still a hard chart, but
Yes.
in no way will it compare to how it was before the fix.
The season
I mean,
3 Master of Puppets FC.
Season 3 Master
Three out,
Puppets,
three out of
actually,
four.
Covenant.
3 out of 4 of FFC Master of Puppets. I ain't doing that. You
I
guys
don't
get it.
blame you. Yo, I don't. Okay, just
I ain't
because we
doing
did it, let's clear this up real quick. Just because Jake, Alec, and I did it doesn't mean that people should feel bad if they didn't. Right?
I
We
disagree. You should feel bad.
Whoa!
Hey, hold on, hold the front
Just kidding.
door.
Controversial.
Just because we wanted to be masochists and throw ourselves against the wall until we got it, aside from Jake, who got it in 3 tries. Fuck you. But
30 minutes. That's all it took.
that's disgusting. You're an anomaly. But legitimately, as of this recording, only 6 people in the world have done it, and 3 of them are here.
It's no
Shout
joke.
out to Chris. Shout out
Funny.
to, did Bryce get it? Did Bryce get that shit?
Bryce
I
is
don't know, probably.
apparently,
He's
from what I've heard,
99.
he's had 8 post solo chokes as of right now.
Did Cage Strawberry get it?
No, it is currently
Who else?
Darkly, us
oh,
3,
Dark, okay.
Oh,
Nathan, and
Body.
Body.
And Chris. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Body. I watched his FC and was like, damn, he barely got past the solo. Like
Solo's brutal,
it's
dude.
Crazy.
Did that shit on
My
Xbox
motherfucker
One.
plays on
VCR.
2013 Xbox One, the VCR. Impressive.
Insane.
The worst console to play it on besides a Switch.
Sorry, slight tangent. Talking about
Yeah.
Warriors of Rock still. Like I
We
said,
will make it through.
Warriors of Rock, it felt completely different from any other game in this. It's like kind of like a kind of a uniqueness playstyle like that Van Halen kind of has. Kind of. I think there's more changes to it.
Unique in a different way, but yet is definitely a unique experience that like you will have to learn this game specifically.
The one thing I noticed right away when I first played the game was the leniency at the end of sustains.
Yep.
So that was something. Did this come out before? This came out before Rock Band 3, didn't it?
Yeah, like a
Yes.
month before.
So in order for,
Wow.
what's the best? You know what, Jake? Do you want to explain the leniency at the end of sustains?
Yeah,
pretty-
sure. So like I said in Guitar Hero 5, that game was really fucking bad for sustains because you had to hold them out like very far. So with Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, what they did was, you know, a sustain lasts, you know, we'll just say it's a 1 beat long sustain. You can let go of that sustain like way early, like way before you see the end of the sustain cross the strike line, and it
It'll
will just
hold it out
continue
for you.
holding it down for you.
Yeah.
Like you can. I think Festival has this too. You can drop a sustain kind of early in Festival, and it
Really?
will continue holding it down.
I
Yep,
didn't even test that.
yep. I don't know
cool.
if it's like I don't know if it's as much as Warriors of Rock. Warriors of Rock is a lot. Like
It might
you
be
can,
the
you
same
can drop
as like
sustain
it might be the
surprisingly
same sort of
early.
leniency as like Rock Band 4, because I know that they cut down on sustained leniency on Rock Band 4 compared to 3.
Yeah,
3
I
had a
think they
lot
did.
of sustained leniency, but I thought it was kind of a. I thought,
it
it
was the
interesting
opposite.
that
I thought it was the opposite. Rock Band 4 is more leniency than 3.
really.
I
Well,
think so.
either way, I thought it was interesting that when Warriors Rock came out and then Rock Band 3 came out afterward, Rock Band 3 also had the sustained leniency. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah, but that was a big quality of life change. It's just for squeezing and pathing and stuff. And actually, because of this, it added a weird thing. You know, I talked about multiplier change glitch ticks back in Guitar Hero 2 or whatever when I talked about that in the last episode. Before, multiplier glitch ticks would only apply if the note following the sustain that changes the multiplier was of the same fret. You can do that in this game if it's on a different fret. So if if a sustain is the 9th note in the multiplier and any note directly follows it, doesn't matter if it's like, say it's an orange sustain, you could have any other fret that be directly after that at the sustain, and you can still get that multiplier change glitch tick because of the leniency built in. Because you can drop that sustain early, hit a different note, and it still holds the sustain for you. So that's kind of neat.
Interesting.
Strumming is fucking weird. The first example that I can think of is Ties That Bind. really fast strumming.
Oh God, yeah, the fast.
Super strict.
Awful FC.
Really fucking hard FC. You need to strum early. Strumming early just helps big time. What a lot of people did back in the day, even today, they changed the calibration. Like they added 20, 30, 40 milliseconds to their calibration numbers, whatever it was before, because that like, it kind of artificially makes it so that they hit the notes earlier. Like if they're still hitting it on time with the strike line, however, the timing window is shifted, so it's as if they're hitting
Shout
it
out
late,
to Super
but it
Zero
looks
for
normal.
pointing this out to me. Super Zero pointed this out, and he was like, "Yeah, I could do dueling banjo strumming if I put video lag to 32 milliseconds." And I was like, "That
Just move it back
that
2
kind of makes
frames.
sense because you're hitting it at the very tip of the timing window, so that's where strums will be accepted. So you could just do it that way, but then you're playing at 32 milliseconds video on a 0 millisecond latency setup. The moment you turn your brain off, GG.
Yeah, I mean, it is a helpful thing to do in that situation. You just have to be mindful of what actually changed. You can't play it normally. You can play it normally during the strums, the fast strumming. Then you can play it normally, and it'll work for you. But every other time, you kind of have to still make sure that you're playing it as if you have 32 milliseconds. Another weird thing about this, if there's a hopo note directly followed by a strum note of the same fret, it's fucking weird. It's broken. The first thing that comes to my mind is Ravenous, the intro of Ravenous. There's one, I think it's a hopo red followed by a strum red. Either you strum that shit early, or you strum that shit super late. And Chemical Warfare Solo 2, D maybe, somewhere in the second solo of Chemical Warfare. There's a lot of like hopo and then strums.
Plastic
That shit
Slayer.
sucks. That shit sucks.
The coveted
FC.
Sudden Death verse 2.
Yeah, Sudden Death verse 2,
And
where
even
it's
the
yellow,
Sudden Death solo.
hopo blue. Yeah, there's a couple sections in the solo too that have the same thing.
There's
I'll
like
put
a
examples up on the
hopo
screen.
red, and it goes red after that at a pretty high notes per second.
Yeah, it's like a quick.
So-
If you try doing a quick triple strum, sometimes it'll overstrum. Sometimes it won't.
Sometimes
If
it
you do
won't.
just the double, as if you want to use the hopo, sometimes that first strum will take the hopo, and then you miss the regular strum note. It's weird.
These games.
It's just weird.
Yeah,
This is the big thing that I was thinking of when I said it'll take you a few hours to get used to this engine again and get a good feel for how you're supposed to play it.
It is
This
night
a big
and
one.
day. It is night and day if you go from Clone Hero to this, actually.
Oh yes, it really is.
Night
It
and
really is.
fucking day.
But they look so similar, aren't they? The same.
They look the same. They play the same, right?
Imagine if
No!
Clone Hero just felt like Warriors of Rock.
Oh my God! Do you know how many people
It
Nobody
would
would
just?
wouldn't be
like-
nearly as possible.
People would rage.
Popular.
People
Yeah.
would rage.
I don't know. You
Totally
can still
would be a different
spam the
world.
fuck out of this. You can still spam the fuck out of this engine. I've seen a Fury of the Solo
can.
IFC where it's just quad spammed. It was legendary.
You can do it, yeah.
You can
Not
do
easily,
It. You
but-
can do it.
Ken, will you?
Will you?
Props to the
you should
people who
not.
can.
I'm going to skip past this next one that says slow ticks, fast ticks. We'll talk about that later. But I think a cool thing they added a couple of modifiers, mirror mode and note shuffle. They're just neat things to change the way the charts are. So really, every chart has two different variations. One's mirrored, so an orange is now a green and a red is now a blue, etc.
Nice for
Actually, there's no
challenges.
etc. Yellow's still yellow. But and note shuffle was randomly generated note placements. Like the note placements are the same, but it was on a different fret. You know what I mean?
It was always the same. So if you loaded up Note Shuffle, it would always be the same chart. It
Yes,
wasn't
it
like
was
it shuffled
randomized
in
Yeah, I
every
think it was
time.
like I think it was like on a seed system. It was just like, okay, here you go.
Yeah, they randomized the chart one time and they put it in the game.
Which is
Which
weird.
is
So-
pretty cool.
If anybody
there's
out there
community
can
full game FCs for
FC either or both ties that bind, note shuffle,
The strumming?
Never happened.
or bodies note shuffle,
Oh, with all the triple notes in there.
fucked up.
Oh god,
Bodies
the
note
fast
shuffle
fast
is
strumming
fucked.
on the chords has got to be stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would suck. That would suck.
Oh no. No.
There's an old thread in Score here. I believe it's owned by Nuno. It's a community full game FC
course.
progress chart for note shuffle songs, and there's like many of the songs have been FC'd on note shuffle. There's like a surprising amount that haven't. Like maybe
You-
like only a few dozen that haven't been.
Can
FC'd
you
on
link
note
that?
shuffle.
I kind of want to take a look at that shit. The
I can,
hardest one I think
I
I've
have
ever
it
done was
bookmarked
like
somewhere.
hardest one I've ever done was Bat Country. That one's fucked up. Bat Country is
Oh.
that fucked
Ooh,
on note
that would
shuffle.
be fucked up. That would be fucked up.
Really, really bad. I
There's
got
one
that
that-
one a while ago.
There's one that I contributed to, and that was Brian Storm.
Ooh,
I was the first Brian Storm shuffle. It was fun. Turns
Yeah,
out
of
in
course it's
20
Brian,
at some point it says the will and testament of Nuno Van Halen. I bequeath ownership of this thread and editing responsibilities to Rob GHH. He's now the owner of this thread.
Oh Rob.
Yeah, that
GHH.
sounds correct to me.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Remember Addy adding all the support for adding support for all the unexportable stuff, did that affect Note Shuffle? I don't know if it did.
Oh,
I need to go take a look.
Are there note shuffles?
Is there
I
Note
don't
Shuffle
know.
for Through the Fire and Flames? We have to go see.
Are there custom note shuffles? Does that get automatically
I don't
done
think
by the
custom
game,
Note
or-
Shuffle is a thing, but you know how there's like leftover data for official songs in Warriors of Rock? What
Yeah.
if they left the seeds in? You know, for those, if they have the
I
right
have no
song
idea how it
ID.
handles
I
that.
haven't tried that yet.
Is it all stored in
I
the
know
MIDI?
I'm setting myself up for failure, and like it's probably not going to be a thing, and maybe I already do know the answer. But
I mean, theoretically, that could all be stored in the MIDI, unless there's multiple
Yeah, it
MIDIs
could
on,
be.
on the disc. I don't know.
But like Warriors of Rock it's exclusive to Warriors of Rock, the Note Shuffle. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying like, what if there's leftover info? You know?
But all the exports that were official and all the DLC have note shuffle charts too. I
That's
don't
what I'm
think they
saying.
would've-
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
probably
like,
just. I guess it's done by the game.
I'm gonna have to boot up the Xbox. I'm gonna have to do
All right,
it.
we'll have to.
Dude, this
try it.
episode is 2 fucking hours, bro.
Yeah, we gotta start wrapping
Holy
here.
shit.
So
we only got
so-
DJ
No,
Hero
I mean we could end that. We could
and
dead
GH
ass end it
Live.
there.
GH Live.
I want. We gotta finish guitar. We gotta talk about both these things. DJ Hero is dog shit. It's really bad. Kind of sucks. It's
Done.
dookie.
DJ Hero.
It looks like Guitar Hero 5, but it isn't. It's like a completely different engine built from the ground up.
It
It's-
looks like if it was made
weird.
in Scratch or something.
Yes, it's bad. It's really bad. Like, you'd think they would just port over the Guitar Hero 5 engine to this game. They remade it entirely. The big thing that I noticed is that there's early whammy. I didn't mention it before for other games that have early whammy because this doesn't fucking count. This is an anomaly. It does have early whammy. It has early sustains. If you hit a sustain early, you get more points from it.
Fuck that.
That's so funny.
So to get ideal scores, you have to hit every sustain as early as possible. It just gives you more ticks.
Oh.
It's fucking weird. And it's jank. Sometimes notes are broken, sometimes they're not. There's extended sustains in this game. We didn't talk about extended sustains at all.
We haven't. We missed that.
Oh, shit. We skipped over that.
There's some broken extended sustains on Weapon of Choice on Guitar Hero World Tour. It's really funny
Yeah,
because
it
the
looks
sustain
weird.
just goes past the strike line. But extended sustains are really fucking cool. There's it started in
It's a
World
sustain
Tour.
with another sustain on top of it while the first one's going. That's what it is.
You have
Yeah.
to hold it if you want most points. So you have
There's
to
some
hold
tech-
it.
to that shit.
Not true. There's a glitch where you let go of the first one before hitting the top
Yep.
ones, and you get more points.
Okay. If you want
So,
to get
yeah, if-
super, push the
Yeah.
glasses up.
Actually,
God,
I'm
no.
actually one of the foremost experts on this topic, and I can talk about it at length for hours. I
You
will
need
not
like
be
the
done.
glare
I'm
on the
not doing that.
glasses
Hey,
too.
We
buddy.
already have done it.
Hey
for
buddy, pick up a
hours.
Actually-
hey buddy, pick up a football. Ha!
What's that mean?
Football.
Why is it called football when you use your hands? Shouldn't soccer be called football?
Why do
Oh,
you
it is.
sound like Ben Shapiro? I don't like it.
Oh, yeah, don't ever
Stop.
say that again. I'm personally offended by that one.
I'm
First he's
glad.
Charlie.
Charlie,
you know what, I don't
first
blame
he's Charlie, and now he's Ben Shapiro.
I want to go back to being Charlie. I'll take Charlie any day over Ben Shapiro. But
as you
DJ Hero,
should.
DJ Hero, it's a fucking weird game. It's a weird game. There's only 10 guitar songs on DJ Hero. I should say we're not talking about the DJ engine. I haven't really played much of the DJ engine. I know Jason's wearing a DJ Hero 2 shirt right now.
Whoa.
But we're not talking about the DJ engine. We're only talking about the guitar engines. Like we said before,
Yeah.
This is guitar centric. So there was a guitar engine in DJ Hero. There were 10 songs that were that had guitar charts in this game.
And it sucked.
Yep, really bad. It was just kind of. I'm guessing it was just a way to get people involved in the game. So I was like, oh, I can play with my guitar in this game. Cool, I will buy this now.
I remember they were promoting it on X Play, and they had a guy on guitar and a guy playing DJ, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool.
And then
Great.
they just scrapped that entirely for DJ Hero 2
scrapped
because
it
now
on
they had all the
entirely-
people
entirely
over.
for
It's
DJ.
only DJ deck.
Yep.
Um.
I want to wait for Jason to be back for Guitar Hero Live.
Yes,
Because
Jason
Oh,
is the guitar.
oh,
Hero
I
Live
was-
guy.
Yeah,
There it
he's-
is. prepared. Here it
That's
is.
exactly
This
what I
is
was
Guitar Hero
getting.
Live. The
Hey,
last
final,
official
the
Guitar
final
Hero game
Guitar
ever.
Hero game.
Forever,
The final
until
Guitar
the
Hero
end of
game
time.
Forever until the end
So-
of time.
I'm going to guess that there's someone, if they've listened to this entire episode and waited 2 hours and have not seen Guitar Hero Live, they'll need this. That's why I wanted to grab it. This was the guitar for Guitar Hero Live, and instead of being 5 buttons straight across with colors, they replaced it with black and white notes. 2 lines. You had 1 lane up here for 3 black notes, and 1 more down here for 3 white notes. It was 2 rows, and you had vertical placement as well as horizontal. Fun. Let me get that close to the camera real quick for anybody watching the video version too. Black notes on
Yes.
top, white on
3
bottom.
on top, 3 on the bottom.
So you ended up having bar chords as well as split 3-note chords where you'd have to hold 2 different rows at the same time. and it was super fucked. On top of that, you also had the bass notes, the open notes from World Tour. And
Now on guitar.
those were added to the guitar as well. So you ended up having pretty much 7 different frets that you had to worry about.
I also want to say they stripped all compatibility for any other instruments minus vocals for Guitar Hero Live.
Yeah,
No
correct.
drums,
So vocals.
no separate bass charts, just
And the
guitar.
vocals did not get scored either. You could only do
And
them.
No, it was
vocals
just for
did
fun.
get scored. It is the worst vocals engine in the entire franchise.
Didn't save
is
it, didn't
dog
care.
shit.
Didn't do
Yeah,
anything.
oh yeah,
It didn't save
you
it. Yeah,
you
it
can't
scored
play
it.
vocal solo. You can only
Yeah.
play vocals if you have a guitar connected and you just have a guitar chart playing with no notes being hit.
It is
Yeah.
absolutely terrible. It is the worst vocals engine of all time.
It was an
Uh,
afterthought. I'm surprised it's in the game.
Yeah.
The other major thing to mention with this game is it kind of played a little like Guitar Hero 3, one of the only other games in the series that had an infinite front end, which meant if you were holding down the right fret during a hammer-on pull-off and it crossed into the strike zone, you got credit. You did not have to tap the note as it was crossing the line. You could just be holding the right one. So just like Guitar Hero 3, just like Clone Hero, Guitar Hero Live is very, very similar in that regard.
And honestly, to be fair, with how they were reinventing the wheel, they kind of needed to do something like that so that people could feel rewarded on a new playstyle. But at the end of the day, we all know what happened at Guitar Hero Live. So,
It was rough.
He didn't do well.
Yeah,
do
didn't do
well.
well. The engine
Sold
itself
100,000
is kind
copies.
of weird. There's no way it sold only 100,000.
It didn't
It
sell
was-
well at all.
it didn't sell well.
Did it sell
No.
worse than Warriors of Rock that killed it the
Oh,
Oh,
first time?
totally.
I mean, okay, let's put it this way. Do you remember the marketing for this game?
It was insulting.
They legitimately paid Lenny Kravitz and what was it, James Franco?
Oh,
A bunch of money to sit in a commercial dancing, joking about the game and breaking guitars. There's no way they made enough money with how fast it shut down.
Okay,
Uh,
so
And how many
Dead
people
in
don't
3
even know
years.
this game exists? So many people don't know this even
It's like
existed.
erased from history now.
by sales by region, comfortably sold best in the U.S., 114,000 units. 66,000 units were sold in Europe. And
Wow.
in the UK, 19,000 in the UK, 10,000 in
Oh
Germany.
my god.
Is this first week or is this forever?
First week. This is first week.
Okay, at least it's not forever. Only the 100,
So
like 200-ish K.
Yeah,
First
probably
week.
less than 300K.
So,
That's
long
really
story
bad for a
short,
revival.
a lot of people did not know this game existed. Or, and this is the other major thing that people kept saying, that's not Guitar Hero.
Yeah,
because-
it's just a different style of game.
It's
It
not.
isn't. It isn't.
No, it's
when
not
you have the
Guitar Hero.
5 buttons across versus 3 rows of 2, or 2 rows of 3, I should say, it's a different gameplay. I really do believe in my heart of hearts if they would have called it something different that people might have given it more of a chance. But when you
I
hear
agree.
Guitar Hero, you think 5 colored buttons and not this, whatever the hell this is.
Yep, I think you hit
just-
the nail on the head right there. If this was
It-
something Rockstar Simulator game, because that's what they've kind of pitched it as.
Well,
because
yeah,
this is FMV backgrounds from the perspective of the guitar player. Like you
Yeah,
are
the
the
vibe of
camera
this-
looking at the crowd.
I'm not even kidding when I say if they'd have called it Guitar Hero, or instead of Guitar Hero, they called it Guitar Villain See in Black and White or something. Literally, just do that. It's done. It's over.
It probably
They
probably would have
trademarked
sold
that,
like
they should use
10,000 more copies, probably.
Like, oh,
Like
this is
the
something different.
the
JP's
vibe
getting
of
fucked
this
over
game,
here.
the vibe of this game is just like fundamentally different than all the other games before it.
Yep.
The controllers were okay. They were okay
Terrible.
quality.
No, they're not
like-
okay. They're terrible. They're
They're
so
not
bad.
Well,
okay.
the,
It's
fret,
the
the
worst,
frets are terrible, bro.
the worst
Oh
build
my
quality
God.
of any official Guitar Hero ever. They
Do you
fall
see that?
apart.
Did you see
Yeah,
that?
they
I
just
just
come
pulled.
off.
I just pulled
Yeah,
the
they just
fret
come
off. These frets,
Bro.
for anybody who didn't play this game, would stick. They would
Yes,
stick.
they
You would
stick horribly.
you would need to pull them off and clean the connections and lubricate them. You would need to put like silicone lube on these, or else they would get stuck.
Had that happen many
Bro,
times.
Oh,
within the first hour, my PS4 controller started overstrumming and stopped working.
yes.
Cool.
Well, you want to know why that happened? Because they're morons and they decided to use Alps switches again instead
Still.
of literally anything else. Like it was 2015, they had so many options. You
They
know?
had sold tens of millions of guitars with these Alp switches that they all had overstrumming problems with.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
just go back
And
to
it's
it.
like
What could go
You
wrong,
know-
guys?
You know what's funny about these guitars internally is that the circuit board for the strum switches is like microscopic. It is so small compared to any other model. It's like this big. Like it's really tiny.
I don't even remember what it looks like. I smashed one of these bitches open. I still don't remember what it looks like inside. Because who cares?
And can we talk about the fact that
No.
in order to remove the neck, you needed a key that they didn't give you?
Yeah, it's a triangle connector key. You have to, what I did,
That
I
they
just
didn't
shoved like
give you.
I shoved the back end of a
bro.
tweezers in there. It was like the
Yeah.
perfect size
Somebody
to.
sent me a listing of a guy who 3D
Oh my
printed
god,
a
I
tool
saw
for
that shit.
and they're selling it for $20.
I
It's
can't
3D
get
printed
it
yourself.
out.
No.
Oh,
It's 3D
Jason,
printed.
hey, family show, bro.
and bro,
One way to wrap it up.
eBay
I'm just kidding.
That's
That
how we're
eBay
gonna finish
listing.
this. That's how we're finishing right there. Literally.
After
All right.
JP finishes his thought.
I was just gonna say that eBay listing. They're saying that it's an unreleased tool. It's literally just a 3D printed piece of garbage.
Oh,
Hey,
no.
you know what,
Unreleased
JP?
tool.
Start the hustle, bro. Start it.
Hey, there's
Is there
3
a-
models online.
You know what you should do? You should start selling the
$18.99.
guitars. Selling the guitars with a latch that you can't do unless you buy a tool from me for $20.
Well,
Yeah,
fuck,
and the
imagine.
tool is shaped like JP. You can
Yeah,
only
it's
You have to-
JP. And
You have
the
to
back
buy
of the
the
guitar
latch
just
from me.
says JP, and you have to put it in there, and you have to.
yeah, like some Tomb Raider type shit where you have to find the specific key to put into this little
Nah,
piece
dude,
on the,
and
on the
then- and then
wall,
they're
and the
like, oh,
stones
no.
start turning.
They're like, oh, I'll just open the guitar to remove the neck, and then you open it. There's like locks on the fucking neck inside.
You're selling DRM into your guitar. It's like
Oh
a
yeah,
physical
sorry,
DRM.
bro, I
put a
got the
QR
Nuvo.
code. Put a QR code like buy the solution here.
It'd be like
you
PRM,
like to buy the
physical
add-on?
rights management.
Yeah, this is physical de novo.
JP is
Yeah.
now homeless.
Only you can
Breaking
save him.
news.
You
JP
must
is
pay.
ultra canceled. He is ultra canceled.
You must pay
Dude,
$13.99 a month to unlock your guitar permanently. You can have a
Subscribe
subscription
to
service. I need to pay the
JP's
bills. So this is it for the Engines episode with
Yippee.
Guitar Hero. We've covered
Guitar
all the Guitar Hero
Hero's
games
done!
officially. Guitar Hero's
It's
dead
dead,
once again,
literally.
and DJ Hero. So we
Again.
still have yet to talk about Rock Band games. We'll do that in a different episode. We also want to cover Clone Hero and Yarg. We would have liked to do that this episode, but it's already been 2 hours and damn near 15 minutes. So I think we need to cut it short here, fellas. So,
Longest episode by far.
Short.
Oh yeah,
Cut it
I
short.
don't know. That accomplishment timeline went up for a while too. I don't know if it's too.
I think it was
I don't
over
know if
2
it's this long.
hours.
It was over 2 hours for sure. I don't know how
This is
long.
girthy.
It was, but it's a girthy
Yeah.
one. But yeah, thanks for watching. Again, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you have any corrections, leave them down in the comments for us below. We always read. We may not show that we read. We don't respond, or we may not do all that stuff. But I promise you, we all do look at the comments on these. So we do hear your feedback. We appreciate you.
Got a little Johnny going, kill yourself, guys.
Wow.
Right
How
now.
did you talk
Yeah.
about
Oh, you
this for
guys
2
suck.
hours?
Jake, you're stupid.
You got me.
Wow.
Fuck
You
this
got me.
fat guy aside.
Let's go.
What do you mean by that?
Said fat.
Hey,
no,
yo.
I'm referring to that Reddit post where the guy was like, he was telling the guy, "Oh, yo, you could sell this for $200," and then I weighed in my opinion.
Fuck you.
Oh.
God, so stupid.
So, next episode will not be an Engines episode. We have something else planned for you. You'll see when the time comes. But the episode after that will most likely be when we continue the Engines.
Have fun speculating.
Have fun
I can't
speculating. Let us know
wait.
down in the comments what you think's going to
I
happen.
can't wait either.
What is
I'm
going
very
to
excited.
happen?